7 on the way inbound. That was a crash. It just cleared. All of your lanes just opened. You're at 27 in, 20 minutes to drive outbound. On the east coming inbound, heavy in spots from the slow ramp all the way to the junction. A ton of traffic getting through the north suburbs today. 53 inbound, you're 18 on the way out. Head to the expressway out 35 to Montrose. You'll save a couple in the express lanes. Run on 53 if you're headed to O'Hare, and an hour drive in. Eisenhower to getting out to Mannheim at 53, an hour 17 to the Jane Addams. Same travel time coming in from I-90, 45 between Mannheim and downtown. Stevenson getting out at 58 to the Tri-State, an hour 12 to 355. You're about 55 minutes inbound. On the south side, the Dana Line 40 minutes out, 25 in. Again, a crash through on 57 inbound. And Halstead, the heavy traffic continues about 27 into the Dana Line from I-80. Heavy in the work zone on the Bishop Ford outbound from 115 to 159. Down 2 lanes until the summer. 33 out, 16 to drive in. Backups along the South Lakeshore Drive on either side of Chicago Avenue. Heavy through Grant Park and then southbound between 50th and Hayes. On the Reagan Tollway, still dealing with the delay westbound from 131 to Orchard Road. There's nobody. The vehicle that went out in the ditch in that area. Next report coming up 4-way at News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
This afternoon, sun clouds, warm, less humidity, a high of 83, mid-central to Lake front. Beautiful night tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 63, and for summer-like temperatures toward the weekend. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 88. 81 now at O'Hare, 84 in Aurora, 70 lakefront.
Featuring the news that matters and breaking news at any time. This is Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Coming up in the next half hour on News Radio WBBM.
This is Andy Dane on the west side.
We are building with this community and not just near it.
Ground is broken on what leaders call a transformative project.
Illinois Controller Susana Mendoza announces her bid for Chicago mayor. Plus, despite ongoing strikes between the U.S. and Iran, President Trump says peace negotiations are going well. The latest on that from CBS News. Sports, Cubs, OCAs. Sox top the Twins.
I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg. Wall Street falls after Iran attacks U.S. military posts in the Middle East. The Dow down 621 points. The Nasdaq down 240. The S&P lower by 56.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump maintains that Iran wants to finalize a deal, even as the Pentagon confirmed it shot down Iranian drones attempting to attack U.S. forces in Kuwait. The president brushing off concerns it could jeopridize the ceasefire.
I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefires would be shooting in a more moderate way.
ABC's Selena Wang has more on rising tensions and a war that is dragging into a fourth month.
The president said this was going to be a 4 to 6 week war. We have way blown past that deadline for this tenuous ceasefire. Yet the U.S. and Iran continue to exchange fire. Not to mention, the president for weeks now has been saying that we're close to a deal with Iran. We have seen lots of whiplash, starts and stops.
Primary races across states yesterday, including California. Results for the top 2 candidates in the mayoral race in L.A. are still being tallied. ABC's political director Avery Harper has more.
You look at the vote count, and at the last check, Karen Bass was at about 35% of the vote. Spencer Pratt was just behind her at about 30%, and then that progressive councilwoman, Nithya Raman, she was at about 22% of the vote. There's a little bit of a quirk in California in that votes will still be counted as long as they are postmarked by Election Day and they are received within 7 days of Election Day. So it could be a while before we actually know who's going to go up against Karen Bass.
The governor's race is also still undecided in that state. New details on the hours-long standoff at a bank in Bakersfield, California that ended in the death of a suspect who said he had a bomb. FBI special agent in charge, Sid Patel, identifying the suspect as Anthony Scott Searles Harris.
He was no stranger to law enforcement and has a criminal history of using weapons to commit violent offenses. In 2014, he was charged with sex acts with a child under 14. He's a registered sex offender.
Police say the 10 hostages were released unharmed. You're listening to ABC News.
Wait, your husband bought new clothes voluntarily? Oh, please. He heard save money and suddenly became a fashion expert. What happened? The Buy More, Save More 10 sale at Suits 2020 and Niles. We save $25 for every $100 we spent. Mm-hmm. See how that works? Exactly. He bought a suit, 2 shirts, shoes, a jacket. The man spent 3 hours saving money. Honestly, respect. And Suits 2020 selection is huge. Basically the biggest men's and boys store in Chicagoland. Now I can finally retire his fancy restaurant jeans. Oh, we're so there. We have prom coming, 2 weddings, and...
The annual Suits 2020 Buy More, Save More tent sale. Happening now through June 7th for VIP Text Club members. Save $25 for every $100 you spend. Get suits from $99.99. Dress shirts and sportswear as low as $4.99. Visit suitsvip.com to join and get your tent sale ticket. That's suitsvip.com. Only at Suits 2020 in Niles. The latest looks at the lowest prices.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
4:03 Wednesday, the 3rd day of June. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lisa Fielding. A beautiful day today, 82 degrees, sunny skies, low humidity, warmer tomorrow, more summer-like temperatures toward the weekend. The AccuWeather 5-day forecast coming up at 4:15. But first at 4, things are going to look a lot different outside of the United Center. Ground has officially been broken on a project that leaders say will help transform Chicago's West Side. WBBM's Andy Dane was there.
We are building with this community and not just near it.
Elected officials, executives, and mascots from the Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks, even the Bucket Boys on hand here at the United Center to kick off the 1901 project. Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle.
The 1901 project will build new green space, safer and more walkable streets, family-friendly amenities, and year-round gathering spaces for residents and visitors alike.
One of the largest ever private investments on Chicago's West Side at $7 billion will also bring affordable housing, retail, and a brand new music hall. Construction phases over the next 14 years. Terry Savarese is Executive Vice President and CEO of the United Center.
We're excited for what's coming, for Chicago and its visitors, for the 3 million fans and growing who gather here year after year, for our city, our county, and our state. But most importantly, we're excited for our community and the neighbors that call the West Side home.
On the West Side, Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
In political news, Illinois Comptroller Susanna Mendoza has announced she's running for mayor, Chicago mayor. She says residents deserve better than the status quo.
Mendoza pointed out how a sitting mayor lost re-election nearly 50 years ago.
Chicago has tossed mayors out of office for blizzards, corruption, and incompetence. Right now, Chicago's experiencing a blizzard of incompetence.
The outgoing state comptroller, former city clerk, and state representative pledged to the crowd here at Los Tamales restaurant to work with the police department and superintendent instead of, she says, making excuses.
Too many excuses for teen takeovers. Too many excuses for mismanagement of spending on migrant shelters.
Mayor Johnson has not publicly said if he's running again, but when asked about Mendoza, pointed to his work on economic development and building more housing.
More people are visiting our city than any other time in the history of Chicago, and we just experienced a 60-year low in homicides. That's the work that we're doing.
In Little Village, Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Meantime, Chicago Mayor Johnson spelling out the status of negotiations between the city and the Chicago Bears last week. Comes as the status of their next home stadium is still very much in limbo.
The mayor told Rahimi and Harris on our sister station 104.3 The Score that his administration was working out what he called a term sheet with team executives as recently as April.
We were in some healthy conversations around what the organization needed.
But he went on to confirm that he's had no contact with the team since April.
You made it sound like it was ongoing. That's why we say we're trying to throw in the gas. April was last month. That was a month ago before session ended.
Mayor Johnson and his team have been claiming credit for the Senate proposal that would let large cities in Cook County set up their own stadium authorities.
This is an opportunity for us to come together to ensure that our Bears remain in Chicago.
As for the Bears' insistence as recently as last weekend that their focus is on Arlington Heights or Hammond,
the Bears have said a lot of things.
But the team's not talking now except to say they'll have a decision before the end of the summer. Jeff Williams, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
One of the biggest attractions in West Chicago.
See you later, right?
With £1 million and stretches longer than a football field.
You got all your stuff?
Johnny Cash may have been singing about a different train, but for one day in West Chicago, this was the train everyone came to see.
Big boy!
It's immense. It's bigger than any steam engine I've ever seen.
Just the sheer size and scale of it, quite amazing.
Thousands turned out for a chance to see Big Boy 4014, the world's largest operating steam locomotive, as it makes its way across the country for America's 250th anniversary celebration. Built during World War II, it still has the power to stop people in their tracks, including 9-year-old Edward Lynch.
I am surprised and happier than I've ever been happy right now.
It makes you that happy to see such a big train?
Yes, I really like trains.
In West Chicago, Rachel Pearson, News Radio 1059 WBDM.
And there's a happy ending to a rescue mission out of the northwest suburbs. The village of Bartlett says an employee heard little peeps coming from a deep ventilation shaft and saw 2 baby ducks. Crews quickly arrived on the scene and safely got out the fluffy duo. The village says the story gets even better, though. Outside the Bartlett Police Department, an anxious mama duck was pacing and waiting for her babies to be rescued. Officers carried the ducklings outside and reunited them with their feathered family. Looks like the good ending to the animal stories. It's 4:08, traffic and weather together on the 8th. Anything good happen on the roads, Neil?
Lisa, it's a rough day. The expressways are really packed already. It started a little bit earlier today. Just a lot of traffic. It's a nice day, and a lot of the kids are out of school now, so a lot to get to and from, that's for sure. Our highest travel time right now, the outbound Eisenhower, 48 to Mannheim, an hour 13 to drive out to the Jane Addams Tollway. Traffic is really heavy leading downtown all the way to the Reagan Tollway, and then a backup from Higgins Road over to I-90. Coming in on the Ike, about an hour 20 from I-90 into downtown, 48 in from Mannheim. Our trouble spot is the Bishop Ford outbound. Traffic is packed from 111th to before 130th Street. Crash there in the 2 left lanes. Just that right lane is getting by. 35 minutes to drive out to 8094. Thanks, as always, for the calls on the WBBM Mercedes-Benz above the state's traffic tip line. That's 855-780 Road. Along the lakefront to South Lakeshore Drive, pretty heavy northbound from 18th up to Chicago Avenue. Southbound traffic north to Chicago through Graham Park and between 50th and Hayes. Tollways, the Tri-State on the brakes northbound passing 127th to 95th. Also a delay from the Reagan to the Eisenhower. Southbound traffic heavy in spots between Willow Road and Ogden. A backup from the Mile Long Bridge. I-80 to past Halstead, and a delay on the Jane Addams westbound from 53 to Roselle Road. The Reagan westbound before Orchard Road, earlier crash gone there. Eastbound traffic from Naperville Road to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. The Veterans Memorial Tollway, southbound traffic from Lake Street down to North Avenue, and then from the Reagan to 63rd. Delays continue on Route 53 either way to the work zone, and on I-80 through Joliet as well. No big headlines in northwest Indiana so far today. From the Metro Traffic Center, next report, 418. News Radio 1059, WBBM.
Plenty of sunshine today, pleasantly warm, low humidity with a high around 80, mid-70s lakefront. Tonight, a low of 63, then partly to mostly sunny and warmer tomorrow with a high of 88. 82 at O'Hare, 76 in Waukegan, 70 lakefront markets in the red today. The Dow down 620 points. It's 410.
You're looking for a way to save money and also increase your home's value, aren't we all? Cisco Cotto here for Comer and Cross. I love my new Comer and Cross garage floor. I'm telling you, it is gleaming new. You can have the same thing right now for 50% off installation. That's right, 50% off installation at Comer and Cross. Several realtors say having a beautiful garage floor instead of one filled with pits, cracks, and stains can increase your home's value by 5 to 10%. Comer and Cross is in and out in just one day. They have thousands of 5-star reviews. That's probably because their employees do the work. They don't farm it out to contractors. I love my new Comer and Cross garage floor. You will too. There's no reason to wait. 50% off installation, 800 new floor. 800 new floor or online, COME.
What's up, everybody? 4:11 p.m. June 30th, 2026. SubX.News live on the spot reporting. You see, a difference a day makes. Traffic is flowing, and that's one of the things that we have to start thinking about. Do we want to have these people who lie and cheat and play games and steal our taxes and pretend they're doing work? Look at the road here. Their road has got potholes. Where's the Wildcats or the Wolf Packs, right? There was a big news conference about Wolf Packs. They're going to fix the potholes. We'll show you potholes. They're not fixed. The roads aren't fixed. Because they work on crisis management. The way Brandon Johnson works and the way they worked at the union is they create crises. Why? Because then it makes excuses for them not working. So then when the crisis comes, they all jump around like Chicken Littles and say, we're going to fix it. We need more money. It's Nixon. It's the economy. It's the Chinese. It's this when it has nothing to do with anybody else except the city government. Think about it. Transgenderism. LGBTQs, Gaza, Trump. Trump has nothing to do with running Chicago. Zero. Nothing. Transgenderism has nothing to do with running the city government. But yesterday they put the flags up. That's the first, or Monday, they put the flags up. They made ceremonies to put gay flags up. Okay, you're gay. That's fine. That's cool. What does that have to do with running the county government or the city government or anything? Nothing. Who you sleep with has nothing to do with running a city. It's a distraction. It's a con game. It's to steal money. They put a few people in that are gay or transgender, and then we say it's no good. They say, oh, you're discriminating against me. You're discriminating against me because I'm transgender. No, I'm saying you're not doing your job. That's what you're doing. You're putting up a gay flag when you should be working and fixing the roads. We should check how many crimes happened Monday. All the resources they put to raising a flag, and how many crimes actually happened when all those resources could be used to fight crime. School's out, right? You're going to have crime up. So what's the first thing that the mayor did today or yesterday? We're going to close the entrances to all the beaches. That's his solution. That's the man's solution. He's going to close the entrances to the beaches. Huh? How about that one? Is that a good way to fix the issues? I'm going to close the beaches so there's no crime. So everybody gets punished. It's a collective punishment. Now you see why he failed as a teacher? Do you know why he's not a teacher? Do you know? You should check if he's even got a teaching license anymore. I got a teaching license. Mine's still current. My teaching license current to this day. I never had a break in service. Never. There you go, right? And there's kids, they want to go to the beach. You should let them go to the beach, right? Ain't nothing wrong with kids going to the beach. That's what the summer's about. We grew up that way, right? So they make excuses about teen trends, crime, homelessness, drug addiction, right? There's a bunch of kids there. You see that there? They should be at the beach. That's where kids should be. They should be at the beach. They were all year long sitting listening to a guy like me teaching them stuff, going blah, blah, blah every day. And guess what? They deserve summer break. They deserve it. Right? They deserve it. Right? They deserve it. Like you deserve it. Like I deserve it. Like our families deserve it. Like our churches deserve it. Like the workers deserve it. Those Omni guys that were striking, I said, they deserve it. Everybody deserves to have a good life. We all deserve it. So why do you traumatize us? This is the guy that says treatment before trauma. Yet he puts police officers on every block in downtown. What does that say to a tourist? If I'm a tourist going to a city and I see police officers everywhere, you know what's the first thing I think of? Oh, is this a high crime area? I don't want to see police officers where I'm shopping. You might say, well, that makes me feel secure. That don't make me feel secure. That means there's crime in the area. That's what that means. That means the city can't handle its crime. The city can't handle its criminal behavior. The city can't handle the teen trends. The city can't handle drug addiction. The city can't handle drug dealers, right? That's the point. I'm trying to set up my other phone while I'm trying. It's ridiculous. This is what I got to say about this phone. Everything, the first thing the phone says when I buy a new phone and trying to start up, I need your password, I need your codes on everything. Right now, I've been working for almost 2 hours on this new phone. Every time I want to do something, it asks me for a password, so it's collecting it. That's what's going to the data centers. Those AI data centers, they're not for you and me. They're for these companies to collect all of our information. I don't need to do this, man. I don't want to do this, man. I'm in the middle of this, right? I don't want to verify nothing. I just want to, what is this crap? So now look, so here, so it's asking me, it's a new phone. What does a phone have? And that's the first thing it says, I want your biometrics. So for me to use a phone that I purchased, this is my phone, says I have to give them my biometrics to use the phone that I own. What do you think is going to store at the AI center? Right? That's what they store there, right? They're storing all of our information, everything you do on your phones. Those AI centers are not for us. Again, they're for these companies, right? Go to settings, use biometric, PIN, right? Whatever. I probably shouldn't be doing this, right? It's asking me for my fingerprint. So my own phone is asking me for my fingerprint. Right? There we go. So which way are we gonna go? Yesterday we went north, didn't we? Did we go? Have we gone through downtown lately? Let's see what's going on there. Let's go to downtown. Right. Let's ask you here. I'm not lying to you. It's asking me for my own phone. Is asking me for my fingerprint. See that there? So I can use my own phone. Strange, isn't it? Instead of picking up the phone and just using it. Pretty wild, huh? Let's see what's that. What are we gonna do? Listen to the radio a little bit? I'll put on the live radio. There we go. You know, in Europe they have rules against biometrics.
Flashing lights on the roadside, it's the law to slow down and safely change lanes when possible. Keep emergency responders, work crews, and everyday drivers like you safe on the road. Move over. It's the law. It's not a game. Next reports at 4:28. News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
For the rest of today, beautiful, sunny, low humidity, warm with a high of 83, 70s lakefront, low tonight of 63. 82 degrees now at 4:20. Top story this hour, local leaders rally with advocates against gun violence. They're calling for the replacement for the gunshot detection technology that was taken away 2 years ago. The rally happened at City Hall. We'll take you there coming up at 4:31. Well, you may know him from Office Space or the Brady Bunch revival movies and countless other roles in TV and film. Now this Rolling Meadows native and ISU grad is back in Chicago where his iconic career began. Actor Gary Cole says being back on stage in Chicago after 25 years is a reunion of sorts with his old friends and colleagues.
When I first heard about doing this play here, Amy Morton, who is directing the play, was going to be the director, and to me that kind of sealed the deal, because I looked at this play and said, wow, this is going to be difficult. This is really going to be hard to make happen. I couldn't think of anybody better that would have a handle on something like this.
Cole says Catch as Catch Can is one of the most challenging roles of his career, and he and his two fellow actors on stage play dual roles across age and genders. Catch as Catch Can is at Steppenwolf, June 4th through July 12th. Well, call for revisions to shape Chicago's future. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this.
On display at the Chicago Cultural Center. The World Business Chicago Horizon Lines Visions for Chicago 2050.
Yep, that is 09370.
One that envisions a tree-focused green infrastructure to strengthen the city's climate resilience, public health, and community vitality. Another into active neighborhood spaces.
Yep, that is 09373.
Eisenhower to heal divisions caused by the highway system. Families will be on display.
703 Lincoln.
The public is invited to
Chicago Red.
through July 24. The winning concept will be announced.
Yep, that one is 09376.
1059W.
Let's see how this new camera works. It took me 2 hours to set this new baby up. Over here, SubX.News on the spot report. Ask me my fingerprints, my DNA, my blood, just to turn on my phone. That's what AI does, right? It wants everything about you so it can I was gonna say sell you stuff, but control you, sell you, tomato, it's all the same. There you go, it's a nice day. The kids are out at the beach. There you go. Let's see how this new camera. So I just tested this out, right? And we'll see how this works out. I don't have it set up for Facebook. Facebook is a longer setup.
872-217-HAIR. And don't forget to ask about that guarantee. It's 872-217-HAIR. For the incredible before and afters, visit advancedhair.com. That's it.
Testing out a new phone. Let's see how this works out. 4:23 p.m., June 3rd, 2026.
Bloomberg Business at 423, sponsored by Capital One.
Even as artificial intelligence takes over a lot of entry-level positions at many companies, Bank of America says next week 2,000 full-time recruits right out of college and 2,000 college interns will start at the lender's offices across the country. Wall Street took a real beating today with oil prices higher on worries about escalating hostilities overnight between the U.S. and Iran. You know what that could mean?
I hope everybody's doing all right, by the way.
At the closing bell, the Dow was down 621 points. That's a decline.
So here, this is what I want to say. Did you guys see the post from George Jefferson? He's got some wild videos. They got a lot of CTA videos. They do
citywide burglary in progress, 8347 South Green. Details to follow. Caller says a male black, heavy set, dreadlocks and a white shirt is trying to break into the house that is vacant and for sale. 62618.
There you go. Burglary, right? Burglary. So what I was going to say, that the post, and he does a lot of crazy stuff. I don't know who he is. I've never met the guy, right? Or I don't even know if it's a guy, girl, AI, what it is. But you see, as soon as he starts, he posted a lot of CTA fight videos.
Citywide, getting the theft in progress, Laramie and Division on the northeast corner. Branch reported that a homeless male stole his phone after walking into his office and taking it. He's wearing a black jacket, black pants, the collar's following the male. Nothing further, don't consider.
He posted a lot of fight videos in the beginning. Then he posts red line videos, and now he's posting.
Stop at a Roosevelt Green. That is 09428.
And now he's posting kind of like anti-drug decrepity. He's like saying, dude, this shouldn't be really happening. A lady passed out on drugs, some fights there. So he's kind of doing a little bit of social commentary now. Maybe social activism, I don't know. And what did he right away put on his page? That's why I reposted it on my page. He says, now I'm getting death threats. So as soon as you go from, oh man, there you go, a bunch of cops there, I told you that. There you go, a whole group. They walk in groups of 4 there. See that? Do you feel safe? Here, do you feel safe when cops are walking around your downtown? Do you feel safe? And most people say, yeah, because I don't like crime. Well, why do we need cops downtown if crime is down? See, that's the whole point here. This is my push, and I don't know if I'll ever get the answer to this. Did Brandon Johnson intentionally, knowingly, on purpose, allow crime to escalate in our city? So now in the last year of his office, he can pump a bunch of resources in, pump a bunch of cops on the streets and say, I fixed it. It's the drowning person analogy, right? Person throws you into water, you can't swim, and he pulls you out and says, I just rescued you. And you say, bro, you just pushed me in. He said, but I rescued you, didn't I? You could have drowned. You kind of get that analogy? I think that's what Brandon is doing. Because they just announced Monday $1 billion for the CTA. Well, my first question was, where was the $1 billion last year? Where was it the year before? Why did you allow crime? Why did you allow somebody to get burned alive on the CTA? Why did you allow 4 people to get executed on the CTA? Why do you let drugs on the CTA? Why do you let the homeless on the CTA? For 3 years you've been in power. 3 years. Think about it. They run the county. Think about this. They run the county. They run the state. No Republican opposition. The Republicans are basically part of them. The Republicans get the crumbs. You know what I mean? They throw some crumbs down to maybe Dixon, Illinois, or Macomb, or maybe Peoria or Decatur. They say, here, you want a crumb? Here's a couple of million crumbs, man. Here's a couple of $1 million, and they jump up and down, right? That's what they do in this state, right? They throw people crumbs. They jump up and down, they throw some crumbs at them, right? That's what they do. Where's that guy? The one guy that was the big lawyer. Remember him? He was the anti-gun stuff. He was running for governor or something the last time. Dupree, or he had a D name. I forget. When I met him a few times, I liked what he was saying. He was on that whole Trump MAGA train, right? All of a sudden, he disappeared. I heard he was doing some stuff with, there you go. Do you feel safe with those cops right there? Look at that. Armed police officers on your streets. Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe, right? Right there. What are they actually doing? Are they preventing crime? Do you think they're preventing crime right now, right? Right? Do you? Do you feel safer? I guess some people do. I don't. I don't feel safer when I see cops around. When I see cops around, that means there's crime. That's the way I see it. Now, maybe I think differently than most people. See, that's where we start going with this whole idea of what are we actually seeing, right? Do you feel safe? Here. Do you feel safe when you see a plywooded up thing? They get all these cops on Michigan Avenue. But I don't know, I don't feel safe when I see plywood there and I see plywood there. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe when that store is empty too. So 3 out of the 4 stores here on Michigan and Ontario are empty. And they got police officers running around with guns and vests or something. I don't know what the police patrols are doing in down on Mag Mile right now. But there you go, man. I don't feel safe with all that plywood around. That tells me these are deserted places. I don't know, man. I don't feel too safe here, man. You can put as many cops as you want on this street. But when I see plywood, that's bad. You kind of get it? That's my view. When I see abandoned businesses, that means that something's wrong here. You can put as many cops as you want on the Magma, but when I see this much plywood, I know it's not safe. 4:30 p.m. June 3rd, 2026.
I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg.
Beautiful today, plenty of sunshine, warm 82 degrees at 4:31. Ahead of a ShotSpotter hearing earlier today, a group of community leaders and advocates rallied outside City Hall to push the city to find some kind of replacement.
Bring back ShotSpotter. Bring back ShotSpotter.
It's been 2 years since the city's contract with gun detection system ShotSpotter expired after Mayor Brandon Johnson decided not to renew it. St. Sabina's Father Michael Flager says since then, advocates and survivors have been waiting for the city to find a replacement.
2 years ago, we were told by the city when they were removing ShotSpotter that they were going to find a better system to put in place. 2 years later, nothing has happened and nothing is on the horizon.
Pam Bosley is the co-founder and executive director of support and advocacy group Purpose Over Pain. Her 18-year-old son, Terrell, was shot and killed in April of 2006. Bosley says his case remains unsolved.
We're asking for solutions. We're asking for accountability. We're asking for these cases to be solved.
We asking to prevent gun violence. We asking for you to respond to our gun violence and to help solve our murder cases.
At a separate event, Mayor Johnson told reporters that ShotSpotter was, quote, junk technology and that the city has been actively working to find a replacement. Carolina
Ontario and
News
Michigan.
Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Several Chicago state leaders gathered on the west side to celebrate and break ground on phase one of the so-called 1901 project. Once complete, the west side will be home to a 6,000-seat music hall, green space, retail and restaurant options, and mixed housing. The first phase features enhanced pedestrian walkways, bike lanes, a music hall, a 180-key hotel, and 2 parking garages. The project will be built in phases, with the final one expected to be completed in 2040. To political news now, the field of candidates in next year's race
I'll
for
be
mayor
dead by
Chicago
then,
just
2040. I ain't living that. 2040, how long ago? Because that's 14 years.
And I'm running for mayor
I might
of
be
Chicago.
around.
State Comptroller Susanna Mendoza is 54 years old. She's been essentially the state's accountant since 2016, and before that was the first woman to serve as Chicago City Clerk. The longtime Democrat is the sister of a Chicago police officer, and she's been critical of aspects of the state's bail reform law, known as the Safety Act.
Communities don't feel safe. Small businesses are fighting to survive.
Mendoza ran for mayor in 2019, but did not advance to the runoff. She's the best known of the candidates who have formally entered the
sitting
race.
right
More
by the
are
doorway.
expected,
See him right there?
including Congressman Mike Quigley,
right there?
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas, and possibly Secretary of State
What's he
Alexi
doing
Julius.
there?
Mayor Brandon Johnson has repeatedly declined to say whether he intends to run again or when he'll make that announcement. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Viral video showing federal immigration agents arresting 2 men outside a suburban Chicago jail is now raising questions.
What is your badge number, sir?
A video circulating online shows federal immigration agents arresting 2 men outside the Kane County Jail Sunday as a sheriff's deputy stood nearby. The Kane County Sheriff's Office says the deputy was not involved and that the office did not coordinate with ICE in any way. Under the Illinois Trust Act, local law enforcement cannot assist federal agents on civil immigration warrants. Kane County State's Attorney Jamie Mosser had this to say about the situation.
There's nothing in the law that allows any of our local law enforcement, like our deputies, to intervene to stop an arrest, even if it's within 1,000 feet of the courthouse.
Kane County officials also note Illinois law does not stop federal agents from entering public spaces or assessing public jail records to make arrests.
He could have gotten in trouble if he assisted. So the deputy did everything that he was supposed to do in that situation, given the law.
Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Around the world, tensions continue in the Middle East and a new wave of strikes between the U.S. and Iran. The Pentagon says it shot down several Iranian drones targeting U.S. forces in Kuwait. And Kuwait briefly shut down its main airport after drones heavily damaged a passenger terminal there, killed a person and wounded others. ABC's Karen Travers shares what these attacks mean for peace talks.
In a new podcast interview that was released today, the president has said he hadn't made up his mind about making a deal with Iran or potentially going back to major combat operations and major strikes against Iran. He was asked what that would
right
do.
there, man.
He
3
said
dudes
it would
right by the door.
certainty. But I do think it's important
In the
to underline
egress.
that we've heard the
Right in the
president
egress of the
repeatedly,
door.
every time he talks about this situation, say that Iran's military capabilities have been decimated. But what we see with
Somebody
these strikes
got taking
overnight
wedding
show that
pictures.
they still have capabilities to carry out something that can have deadly consequences.
And this afternoon, the House voted to pass a war powers resolution to halt military action against Iran. The first time it has passed, it will now head to the Senate. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent dodging questions about whether President Trump will still be immune from the IRS audits comes after the administration scrapped plans for that anti-weaponization fund.
The fund and immunity were parts of a deal the president reached to drop his lawsuit against the IRS yesterday.
We are not moving forward with the fund, period.
But Acting Attorney General Todd Bland seemed to indicate audit immunity is still in effect. During a Senate hearing today,
this matter is still subject to ongoing litigation, so I'm unable to comment further on it.
Frustrating Democrats like Ron Wyden.
Just dodging and bobbing and weaving.
If audits and examinations of the president's taxes were thrown out under the settlement, an untold figure could be wiped from his bill to the federal government. Soccer and gun Washington.
Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. Your business runs all year, and so do the gaps and the risk. That's why I'm introducing Super Sure.
If your company has more than
There's the tow trucks, right? We should check how many they were towing yesterday instead of pulling those cars off the roads.
See what's covered and what's not. Plus, a business value calculator.
All right, this is some radio calls. It's enough of that jibber jabber, right?
Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This is the story of the one. The one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she...
Alrighty, now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. But look, we do it. Think about this. Think about this. We all go through this every day. We all set up our phones. We all have to set up our cars. Right now, I have my car. And I love my mechanic. I love him. He takes care of me. But I'm going to tell you, every time I take it into him, I started out with one light 7 months ago. Now I have 4 lights. I love my brother, man. He does what he does, but I need that one extra little push over the finish line. You kind of ever have that feeling? Everything is all right, but you just need to get that one little extra just to get it to where you want it. Everybody know that, right? Now, I know you can't always get everything you always want. Everything can't always be perfect. I get that. But just so it's normal, you know what I mean? So we're not dealing with all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Here we are. It's 4:38 p.m. As you see, there is no one walking in downtown on Escalade. No one. Zero. Absolutely none. What do you got? 2, 3 people there on that you used to fight your way up that stairway. That was a fight. It was shoulder to shoulder people on those stairways at this time. Shoulder to shoulder. You couldn't get up there. If you were 5 minutes late, you couldn't get up these staircases. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. There's no one. Look, there's no one going up the stairways. Look. There you see, right? There's no one here. What are they gonna say? It's remote Monday? Well, hey, dude, no, it ain't remote Monday. It's Wednesday actually, and it's 4:30. It's the height of rush hour. What do I always say? You want to see it if something's being working or it's full. You look at the surface parking here. It's a little more crowded here, but you can see there's spaces there, right? There, you can put a car there. If there's empty surface parking in the downtown, that means there's nobody here. Right? Loading zones, right? All of that stuff. That's what you got to look at, right? See it up front? You see all the empty spaces there? And this is by Miller's Pub and the Palmer House, right? There you go. There's another business closed there, right? Another business is closed. Again, I was saying this earlier. Does police on a street make you safe? It doesn't make me safe. I don't want to see police. I don't want to see no cops. I don't want to see fire departments. You know what? I'll tell you this. I'm gonna close my windows and I'm gonna make my statement. I don't want to see the fucking mayor. I don't want to see the county board fucking president. I don't want to see the fucking government. And I don't want to see the fucking president. What are you doing on TV every day? How much time do you have in your day that you can be on the TV flying LGBT flags? You can be talking about Netanyahu, that he's a no good guy. Yeah, I voted for Trump. I don't like some of the things he does. I don't like the war stuff. He said he would never get us in a war, and now we're in a war. So he lied on that one, right? Now what happened? What changed between him not going to war and going to war? I don't know, right? We'll see. We'll see how this one plays out. I don't like that part of it, and I don't like his censoring of people, right? He censors a lot of people, and he goes to war. Those are the two things I don't like. I think he's good for the economy. I think he knows what he's doing because he's used to distress stuff. Right now, America's in a distressed issue, right? Situation. Just like Chicago. We need a guy or a woman or anybody who can handle that kind of stuff. Bad potholes, a war, a bad economy, right? People getting older, they're retiring, so you need new people. So now you're gonna have a lag time in people learning their jobs, right? We're in the middle of that. Has anybody ever talked about that? That we're in the time when the baby boomers, first they're trying to hold on. For some reason, they don't want to let go, right? Whatever, man. That's their thing. I'm not a baby boomer, by the way. And then you got the young people come in, they know everything because they're Gen Zers. So now you got the two mixes, right? You got the boomers that don't want to let go of their jobs, and you got the Gen Zers who want to get in and get those jobs, and they think they know everything because they're using the computers or the apps. Whichever, whatever. So you have that conflict going on, but no one talks about that. And that's a big thing right now. We're in that transition. We're in a transition from old to new in all kinds of respects, and no one's talking about it. They've been writing about this for 20 years. This is old stuff, man. Is it demographics, right? You know what's happening, right? And especially ramped up 10 years ago. There's a lot of good books written about 10 years ago, especially transitioning technologies, right? Mechanical to digital, right? We're in the digital revolution. But they're not talking about the people that are actually changing, right? The different ideas. And I think that's one of the reasons Brandon won, because he's a younger guy. He's from the union. He may be a little socialist, a little communist. I don't think he's neither a socialist nor a communist. I'll tell you this. I don't think Brandon's a communist or a socialist. Absolutely not. They don't allow drugs. Go to any communist country. You tell me if you see drugs on the street corner. You go to a communist country, see what happens to carjackers that smash into a window. Go see in a communist country. You be lucky, the criminal, if he makes it to the jailhouse. Do you know what they do in India and Pakistan with molesters? You don't make it to the jailhouse. You don't make it from where you're arrested to the jail. Go look up some videos in India and Pakistan, what happens to molesters. Especially people who are abusing children. Look up in China what they do with government officials who are corrupt, who steal. Politicians, they execute them in public. They had public executions in China for government officials who steal public money. What do we got? We got PPP loans. We got police officers that take PP loans that are still working as police officers. We got Brandon Johnson. He was working 2 jobs as a commissioner and working at the union at the same time. How does a man work at the same time, at the same exact time, having 2 jobs? How do you do that? How do you work as a Cook County commissioner and work at the Chicago Teachers Union as an organizer at the same time? Those are 2 daytime jobs. How do you do that? How do you physically do that? You can't. So you're stealing from one or the other, or you're stealing from both. What I heard about Brandon Johnson is he didn't do neither job. He didn't do the union job, which I could see, because I was in the union when he was doing that. And then he wasn't doing the commissioner job either. Once a bunch of us filed something with the Cook County Commissioners of Ethics. You know what they said? We don't investigate that because we don't have the authority to do anything about it. And that's what they told us, right? That's exactly what they said, right? And that's how it goes. All right, let's do this. 4:45 p.m., June 3rd, 2026. There we go. Has anything been fixed? How many times has Brandon Johnson been on the internet, Twitter, social media, on the TV, saying he's fixing, he's doing, he's working, right? How many times has he done that, right? How many times has he been on the internet today? How many times has he been on the internet? There you go. See that? Downtown Chicago, right? Downtown Chicago. Well, you just seen that. See that there? That's the main library. And that's an abandoned building. How many times has Brandon Johnson been on social media and the internet today? And how many times has he fixed anything? Let's start keeping track of that. 4:45 p.m. All right, think about it. How many times do you see these people? Even Trump. Trump's always on that TV. Stop being on TV. Go do your job. You're not a TV star anymore. You kind of get what I'm trying to say? How many times has Brandon Johnson been on the TV and the internet today? And how many times did he fix something? 4:46 p.m., June 3rd, 2026. Think about it. I ain't a politician. This is what I do. I run SubX.News. I have a company. That's what I do. People always in the beginning, oh, you're clout chasing. You know who just told me that? Crime chaser. You're clout chasing. I'm like, what? Motherfucker, I've been reporting 20 fucking years in Chicago, bro. You're videotaping crime scenes and saying you're a crime interventionist. How does that work? That's weird. You're taping crime scenes, making money off of crime scenes while you're saying you stopped crime. Aren't those opposite? How do you tape crime scenes? How do you get the crime scenes? And then you say you're stopping crime while you're making money off the videos from the crime scenes. Yeah, Facebook pays us. I get paid from Facebook. I get paid for content on my page. Videos, you don't make money. I mean, I don't make money on videos. I'm banned from making money on videos. I make money from my articles. I make money from my pictures. I don't make nothing off of the live feeds. Zero. But maybe other people don't either. I don't know. There we go, man. Empty downtown. Let's sit here and see what's going on for a second. A few blocks empty. I gotta get my bearings and see what's going on, right? Plus there's an ambulance coming. Empty. There's a few cars here. Look, that whole lane is empty there. 2 blocks. IDB Wells and State Street. I'm putting up that video from over there, right? I'm using my new phone, right? All right, ready to go? Well, we were gonna listen to crime, right? Let's go. It's empty. All these stores are empty here. These are all empty. I'll do a U-turn. I'll show you. Here. We're on State Street, okay? We're on State Street. We're in between Adams and Jackson, right? I believe Jackson. You see all these? See all these stores? This is a whole block. If you're just tuning in to me, all these stores on this State Street are abandoned. These are not closed. They're abandoned. There's nothing going on here. Squatters live in these. A couple of guys told me squatters live in some of these. This whole block, the entire block, both sides are abandoned. There's no stores here except a couple right at the end there. So it's about 90% empty here. The old Woolworths used to be here. You remember the old Woolworths? They had a good little cafeteria in there. These are all empty. All those stores are empty. All of these stores are empty. They're not open. It's abandoned here. There's nothing here. Then they just closed that store over there, right? Then I can hear the sirens in the background. I'm going to make a U-turn and I'll show you the other side, right? So you don't think I'm making this up, right? You got a bank here and you got a Jimmy John's. There was a store there that just closed over there. See that there? Look. That's just open because that's a government building there. See that there? All of these stores, all of them, it's 90% is closed here. So again, you see the man on TV Right? You see him jibber-jabbering about Trump or Bass or whatever other garbage the man's doing, or raising some flags, talking about he's doing this and that, but you see this, they're saying fix it. I got videos going back 3 years. You can check State Street, 3 years, it's empty. It's 100%. There's nothing been done here, and in fact, it's gotten worse. They put some voter registration or something there, but that's an empty store. That ain't nothing. That's not generating business. That should be a store. It shouldn't be no voting place, right? It should be a store. That don't generate business. That doesn't generate business.
3216. Ready to be 3215, you out there, 3215?
Let's get moving, right?
Both are wearing black clothes and one has an accident walking away.
All you hear is sirens.
16, Houston southbound at Oakwood for a white Honda Accord with the tire straight stance is already rolling. 989. Follow the rest of it. Alright, so
by battery and cargo 146 Washburn Road. We're building another vehicle with no weapons. Another clear conversation.
383 Adam. Adam. Can we get a red number for a red line check at 95th Street? Yeah, that's going to be 09698. What's your number? 91 Charlie. Can I have a red number for street stop at the Roosevelt Green Line? Yep, that's going to be 09703. 7389. 739. Can I get a trip mission at the Blue Line Medical District? Sure. That is 09719. Thank you. No problem.
Use the 93 Speedway can assist progress at the Dollar Tree 6360 Western and to Mailbox Doors on 13, just now 6 clear.
7320 Adam.
7320 Adam.
7389.
739. Use the 93 Speedway can assist progress at the Dollar Tree 6360 Western and to Mailbox Doors on 13, just now 6 clear.
7320 Adam.
7320 Adam.
Yeah, squad, let me get a number 4 over that red line.
Stealing from the Dollar Tree, 53rd and Western.
738. 738. 738 for Mary.
Red line check in division.
Alright, take 09744. 09744. Alright, I should drive you next to some info for the police at 40 southbound. Got a piece of kind of brown metal fell off of a passing vehicle, and he's afraid it's going to cause an accident.
Yeah, boy.
7388 boy.
39 for everybody. Train 7180.
I'm sorry, to where?
Just for devices.
Logan. Alright, that's going to be 09757. 09757.
780. 780 is what I heard? 780. Can you just let me know what zone the participant? Yes, zone 4.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. 7383 David. 733 David. Upfield red line. Yeah, take 09778. Adam. 7310 Adam. Check red line 69. Yep, and I'll give you 097.
You got those people with the kids everywhere now. They're on every corner again.
15.
They're back on every corner.
Check out some debris, 4900 north in the southbound, piece of metal fell off a vehicle. David. 791 David. For name Roosevelt Green, please. Alright, 09807. 383 Charlie. 783 Charlie. 69 for the rest.
There you go. Downtown Chicago, Madison, LaSalle.
098.
Storefront is empty. You see that there? And I think that storefront's empty there across. So that means 2 storefronts on 4 corners is what? 50% vacant. You see, there aren't too many people walking. That's the time, 4:57. So 50% vacancy on that corner.
Sure. At 09851.
There might be one of these people with their kids out here, right here, right? She usually sits right here.
331. 7331. You got a number, please, for Council at the United Center? Yes, that's gonna be 08846. 08846.
Downtown Chicago. There, see that there? It's all empty. This whole store is empty here, right? That's a store there. That's right. That store is closed. I'll show you guys this, right? That whole store is closed. You can't sustain yourself. That's why I said get off the TV, get off the internet, do your jobs, right? Including Trump. He needs to stay off that TV. Right? He needs to do his job, not be on the TV. He's not a talk show host anymore. You kind of get it? This whole store is empty. What stream am I on? What stream am I on? Everybody knows. We're going to listen to 5 o'clock news. Right? We're going to try to count how many people we see walking past. How about that? Let's listen to 5 o'clock news. What's going on? Again, I'm trying to get my bearings with this new phone. So I appreciate everybody's patience.
I'm Michelle Franzen.
On this vote, the yeas are 250.
For the first time since the war with Iran began, House lawmakers passing a war powers resolution to limit President Trump's use of U.S. forces without a declaration of war or authorization. That vote's symbolic, but shows a growing number of Democrats and Republicans now who don't agree with the president's handling of the war, now in its 4th month. President Trump telling reporters he believes a deal with Iran is getting closer and brushed off concerns that the ceasefire won't hold after the Pentagon shot down Iranian drones targeting U.S. forces in Kuwait.
On this,
we could go another 2-3 weeks and just wipe everybody out. I'd rather not. Very easy to do. They're ready to do it. They want to do it. They want to do it. But if we can get something down in writing which will accomplish the same thing without killing everybody, I'd like to do that.
In the wake of another Supreme Court decision that weakened parts of the Civil Rights Act, justices issued a decision today in an Alabama case allowing the state to use a 2023 congressional map for midterms elections. California's primary race for the LA mayor is still being tallied. Incumbent Karen Bass receiving enough votes to move on to November's runoff election. The Republican Spencer Pratt leads other candidates to become the opposing candidate. ABC political director Avery Holmes has
It's a warning shot to Karen Bass, the fact that she has to go to a runoff at all.
all. It hasn't been for, at least a couple of decades that an incumbent mayor in Los Angeles has had to go to a runoff because they did not clear that 50% threshold. And we know this is all coming amid widespread criticism of Karen Bass's handling of those fires in LA that just devastated parts of the city.
The governor's race also still undecided. Excitement is building for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The San Antonio Spurs hosting the New York Knicks. Tip-off now just a few hours away. It's a repeat of the 1999 Finals between both teams. You're listening to
Is your financial advisor managing your risk? Purchase the spreadsheet. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't your name, your family, or your goals. In fact, passive management can make you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, not just the stocks or even house buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate under one cohesive your financial advisors is more than just a general portfolio. Real planning isn't just statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 7 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Smell weed right there.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth LLC.
All you smell is weed.
Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services.
You can smell the weed right here.
Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com. Chicago's news traffic and weather station. News Radio.
All you smell is weed.
And WBNNewsRadio.com.
5:03, Wednesday, halfway through the 3rd of June. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm feeling a beautiful day, right? 82 degrees right now, sunny skies, low humidity, mid-70s lakefront. Warming up tomorrow, more summer-like temperatures toward the weekend. The AccuWeather 5-day forecast coming up at 5:15. First at 5. Leaders gathered on Chicago's west side today to officially break ground on a multi-billion-dollar investment. WBBM's Andy Dane reports from the United Center.
Phase 1 of what's been done in 1901 projects. BlackRock's chairman and CEO, Danny Wirtz.
Not just development. It's a place where Chicago comes alive.
The first wave of the $7 billion initiative will bring retail options, hotel, parking, roadway, bikeway, and sidewalk improvements, as well as a 6,000-seat music hall. President Tony Blair.
Says he and execs from the Bears were talking to each other as late as April about terms linked to a potential new stadium on the city's lakefront. But he says he's had no contact with the team since then. His comments last weekend's failure of state lawmakers in Springfield to agree on a way to encourage the Bears to build a new stadium on land the team owns in Arlington Heights. The mayor talked about the state of those negotiations during the Rahimi and Harris show on our sister station 104.3 The Score.
The conversations that we have had up until the point.
Why is he on the radio? Kind of get it? Why is he on the radio?
Agreements can we work out to ensure that there is public benefit and public use?
They say it's deciding between Arlington Heights and a potential site in Hammond, Indiana, and it will make its decision before the end of the summer. Stay tuned. Well, a baby has been found safe after the car that was riding it was stolen this morning from Chicago's South Side.
Chicago police say a 36-year-old man was standing next to his car near 91st and Urban, just east of the Dan Ryan, when someone got in and stole it with a 1-year-old baby inside. Shortly after 2 a.m. in the West Chesterfield neighborhood, and police say they found the car and the little boy a short time later about 5 miles away near 62nd and Eberhart. Police say no one was hurt and the baby was taken to the hospital for observation. No one is in custody. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Police looking through evidence, security footage, searching for a group of burglars targeting work vans across the city. All 6 incidences happened within a 2-hour span. On Monday morning, investigators say 3 to 14 suspects broke into work and cargo vans and took the construction equipment inside. The suspects came and went in a white Acura SUV with previously reported license plates. The Chicago Police Department says one tip to avoid being targeted is to remove company branding or mark your tools to make them harder to sell. A Chicago foster care survivor suing the facility where she says she was repeatedly sexually assaulted.
Yadira Escamilla, who was in DCFS custody at the age of 17 at Aunt Martha's Health and Wellness on the South Side, is now the plaintiff in a 20-count civil lawsuit filed by attorneys Ben Crump and Margaret Battersby Black. The suit alleges staff sexually assaulted residents, withheld food, gave youth drugs, and denied medical care for years. A nighttime supervisor, Trulon Henry, was convicted in March of sexually assaulting Escamilla and other female residents. Attorney Battersby Black had this to say.
The goal here is to shine a light on how those people are vetted and make sure that we've got people in these institutions who are truly there for the right reasons and are looking to be role models and advocates for these people.
Escamilla was the whistleblower who reported the abuse and served as the lead witness against Trulon Henry. The facility was shut down back in June of 2024, but Battersby Black says the fight for justice doesn't end there.
We're really, really strongly looking at DCFS and whether they knew before placing our client and others at Aunt Martha's.
Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
An Indianapolis man facing felony charges after allegedly threatening the highest-ranking judge of the Indiana Supreme Court.
The Chief Justice, Loretta Rush, received a letter and what the writer, alleged to be 52-year-old Michael Cable, termed a legal document. He declared himself to be judge and jury of mankind and allegedly wrote, "Your families will be murdered, maimed, mutilated, tortured, torn to pieces, and strung up to the rafters." He also noted that he's the last grandson of Jesus Christ, according to a court filing.
That's crazy.
Cable has been charged with felony intimidation. It's not the first time. He's been charged 9 other times with making threats, mostly against women. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
It's 5:08. Time to check in on the roads now. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. How are things moving, Neil?
A very busy day, Lisa. Not very fast, that's for sure. The Kennedy Expressway really backed up on the way out from the Jane Byrne interchange to Montrose, where we had a crash in a couple of lanes. It has cleared, so all of your lanes are getting by again. You're 36 to Montrose. If you hop in the Express, you save about 4:54 to drive out to the airport. A solid hour coming inbound. On the Dan Ryan outbound, Word of a Stall past Roosevelt.
You guys want me to hang out one night and show you how they're picked up by people and that they're not homeless? These people with the kids, they're not homeless. It's a cartel. It's a trafficking cartel. Those people collecting money from you are cartel people. You know, they might not even be their own kids out there on those corners. I was out here, I did it one night. I sat there and I watched. Somebody picked, and they pick them all up. They're all together. It's all cartel. It's a, they do it together. They're not alone. They're not abandoned. They're not homeless. They're not without a job. They're taking your money, stealing your money by what? Using children, right? Oh man, there's something going on here, right? Go main train station. You know, once in a while, those of you just tuning in, we'll sit here for an hour and just watch and count how many people come by here. So it's 5:09 p.m. Should be the busiest time. These should be packed with people on all different directions, right?
How about a fresh coat of paint to brighten things up? My Martinez here for CertaPro Painters. The professionals at CertaPro Painters came out to my home a couple of months ago, and in just one day they gave my kitchen, entryway, and guest bedroom a beautiful makeover, exceeding my expectations. If you're looking to fresh...
This is the main train station. It's a Wednesday. It's not an off day, right? I'll do a little time study today.
Yeah, go ahead.
Down to Addison, randomized a couple stations.
730-297.
SubX.News on the spot reporting here. We're at Ogilvie train station at Canal and Madison. It is now 5:11 p.m. Let me put the video so you can see it. That's the time. You can see the time there, right? I'm not making up the time. It's 5:11 p.m. It's a Wednesday. It's not remote. It's not remote Monday, right?
00.
It's 5:11. See, it's 5:12. It's 5:12 p.m. It's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. What do you see? You don't see anybody here. It's abandoned. It's abandoned. This is an abandoned train station. There's no one using it. Look at the empty space on the road there. This is the... Remember, this is the third largest city in the United States. The third largest city. This is what you see at 5:12 p.m. on a Wednesday evening after work. You don't see it? Look at that bus that just passed by. There ain't nobody on that bus. You can say, John, I see people walking. You don't know what you're... Well, you must be from the suburbs or you're from the country, where you think 5 or 20 people, you might even think 100 people are a lot. You know, when somebody's from a farm town, they might think 1,000 people is a lot. They might think 1,000 is a lot. Do you know one of our high schools in the old days, Lane Tech, used to have 4,000 people, students? That was just students that's including staff. There's some high schools in the southern suburbs and western suburbs of Chicago that have 5,000 students. I was at one of those. I think it was on Oswego or one of those out there. I don't know, Tinley Park. I was used to when my kids were in all those sports. There was one school in south suburbs that had 5,000 students. So imagine when someone that's from the country, a hillbilly, maybe they're a farmer, I don't know where they're from. Maybe they're from some other place. Maybe they're from Schaumburg. Maybe they're from, I don't know, who knows where they're from. I don't know where they're from. And then you show them this video, and what's the first thing they say? They say, look at him. He doesn't know what he's saying. I see people all over. Bro, this is Chicago, the third largest city in the United States. It used to be the center of the world for commerce and business and industry. At one time, the city of Chicago was the center of the world. It was the center of the world even for politics. We've had a lot of political conventions. If you didn't come through Chicago, you couldn't get elected president. That's how it used to be. Now look at it. We're gonna be sitting here. We're gonna. This is what we call as a time study. We've done this for an hour here. We sat here for an hour. We actually once counted how many people we seen. It's called a time study. See, when people do reporting and they're real reporters, they're not fake reporters, or they're not crime chasers pretending to be fixing crime and chasing crime, and I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're confused, right? Either they're a crime chaser or they're fixing crime, but they're videotaping crime, so they're not fixing crime, because if they fixed crime, they couldn't videotape crime, right? Isn't that how that works? If you fix the crime, you wouldn't be able to videotape the crime. If you can't videotape the crime, then you can't make money. See that one? See how that works, right? So it's not in your interest to fix crime. You got that? So the first thing you gotta do, if you're a crime chaser, if you're a true crime chaser, you would stop videotaping crime. You say, well, John, that's you. You videotape crime. I don't say that. I don't say that I'm a guy that stops crime. I'm not a crime interventionist. I don't have a vest from the Chicago Police Department. I don't have that. I'm a news organization. I'm a news agency. I've been registered with the city of Chicago for close to 20 years as a news person. Now, first as a reporter working for SubX.News, then an editor for SubX.News, and now I'm the owner of SubX.News. Never had a break in my credentials. Never have I had a break in my credentials in the city. So, why am I talking about this while you're watching Madison and Canal? Because it'd be boring if I didn't say anything, because you'd be watching an empty street. Look at that, the whole street, you got almost 2 blocks empty in front of you. See that there? What's the other thing you don't see? You don't see double parked or triple parked there where the cabbies are, right? Again, this is one of the main train stations. Why don't I look it up? I'll look it up on the internet here. What is Ogilvie? Ogilvie train station in Chicago. Is it important? AI mode, right? I love AI. AI is great if you use it right and you watch it. Yes. So here, look. Let me show you this. You know why AI is great? Let me show you this. See this? What? I just punched in where I'm at, and it gave me a response. Look at this. You see how AI works if you know how to use it? Right there. See that there? So let me read you what I just put in the prompt. In the prompt for this, where I'm at, I said, Ogilvie train station. I don't even know if that's the right way to pronounce it. In Chicago, is it important? Here's AI's response. Yes, the Ogilvie Transportation Center, often called Ogilvie Station, is exceptionally important to Chicago's infrastructure, as it serves as the second busiest rail station in Chicago and the sixth busiest rail station in North America. The sixth busiest. Does it look busy to you right now? Remember, AI takes old information. This information they're gathering is from Wikipedia, so it might be a year or two old. Does this look like the second busiest train station in Chicago? Does it even look busy to you? Again, we've been sitting here. I'm going to check the time on Twitter. I'm recording this on Twitter and I'm recording this on Facebook. So far, I've been sitting here for 6 minutes. I don't think I've seen more than 200-300 people. If we seen 100 people, we'd be lucky. If we seen 100 people, we'd be lucky. Yes, this is what I do. This is what reporters do. This is what people who want to solve problems do. If you were a crime chaser, you would be videotaping the crime and saying, this is how we're going to fix it. And this is what we're going to do about this. You see that guy? He's selling drugs over there. You see that guy over there? He's beating on somebody. See that girl over there? She's got a knife in her hand. That's what you do. If you were a true person who wanted to do what? Crime intervention, you'd show a video and say, this is the crime stuff. We need to address these issues. Right now, what? I'm a reporter. I'm saying Chicago has a large issue. One, we don't have business. Second, we're depopulated, and we're repopulating slowly. And this is the proof of it. This proves what I say as a reporter. I don't need to get Wikipedia. I don't need to talk to Brandon Johnson. I don't need to talk to Governor Pritzker. I don't need to talk to the Metro people. I don't need to talk to Tony Prickwinkle. Why? Because the video speaks for itself. My voice, my ideas, my bias, my experience means nothing. It's zero. It's just me talking. It's the video that's the report. How many people you see walking here? Have you counted them? Is somebody good at counting? I'm not good at counting. I only have 10 fingers and 20 toes. Oh, no, 20 total. 10 fingers, 10 toes. That's 20. There we go. You see that? Look how many people you see walking across the street here. See that? Ain't too many, is it? How many buses have you seen come by here? Not too many, have you? It's now 5:19. Yes, we do this. This is what SubX does. We're a news agency. We're not crime chasers. We're not crime interventionists. We do some social activism. We like doing that stuff. We're social activists. Yeah, we do that. We do social commentary. We do all of that kind of stuff, right? And that lady's pregnant riding on a motorbike there. See her? I don't think that's safe, is it? She was riding on a scooter pregnant, that girl over there. There you go, with those young guys. Whatever, they do whatever they want. So again, this is the type of reporting we do. This is the problem, by the way. This is the central problem in our city. We are depopulated, and worse than depopulated, we are de-businessed. You just seen the videos of businesses being smashed. What was that, 55th and Pulaski or 55th and Kedzie? You just seen the video, it's on our page. Multiple businesses smashed. Multiple gas stations smashed. I was live on the scene before for that, wasn't I? Multiple businesses. Every day, all the time. And the newscast finally today said this. They know the car. They know the plates, but they continue to smash into places. What do you hear on a daily basis on SubX.News? Stolen car driving on down the Ryan. Stolen car on Oakwood. You just heard the car was on Oakwood today, a stolen car. And what happens? The police allow it to drive. The police allow the criminals to keep moving on. That's our problem. There you go, right? Canal and Madison. 5:21 p.m. That's the problem you're looking at. All right, let's put some radio calls, because that's a little too much talking for me, right? This is the problem in our city. No business, no people. This is one of the most important train stations in the metro area. And there's barely any people out here. Little past 5 p.m., June 3rd, 2026. No people means no money. Right? When you don't have people, that means you don't have money. You can pretend and say that it's COVID or it's remote work or whatever you want. That remote work has nothing to do with money and people. Zero. People keep saying it was COVID. And I'm gonna tell you that's don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap. That's a narrative trap. They're trying to get you to believe something that's not the truth. That's what that means. There ain't nobody on this bus passing us by here, right? Then we're gonna get going, okay? I just like doing this once in a while. I do this about every 4 months to check in here and see what's going on here. It's really important to see if what's happening is truly happening or it's my imagination or what it is. So that's why we're here, right? I appreciate everybody's patience. We're going to get going pretty soon. There we go. All right, let's get out of here, right? Is that enough? So again, this is what SubX.News does. We're reporters. We're not crime chasers. We do crime chasing, but we're reporters. We do news, all right? This is news. This is news because you're seeing something and we're reporting it, right? There we go. And it's related. This is related to the crime. Why crime is high in our city, right? This is directly related to crime. What you're seeing is directly related to crime. Why? Because there's nobody here. That means there's no money coming in, right? And when there's no money come in, then you have higher crime. That's the truth. All right, let's get out of here. Listen to some radio calls, right?
383 Taylor.
Let's go.
Hold line, Garfield, please. Yep, that is 09903. 7383, heading. Squad Green, will you look at the latest 36 stand red line? We have an incident out here with the juvenile. Alright. Jump. 3 boys. 7 boys. Run at that 39, the red line. 9-1. Yeah, 7338. Hit him for sir. Got it.
It's choppy today, huh?
310 Adam. I'm going to head over there from 69th Street.
You want to hear the sirens? Sirens all day. You've been hearing sirens all day. I've been hearing sirens since I got up today. How many sirens have you heard or seen while we've been on that broadcast? That's the 4th or 5th one already. Within what? We only been on the air since 4 o'clock. Oh, did I tell you the statistics? We have 1 murder per day in Chicago. A little over 1 murder per day. We had 36 last month. There's a disagreement. Is it 36 or 38? We'll go with the lower figure. That means 1 murder per day in Chicago. So every day in the city of Chicago, there can be expected 1 person to be murdered. Not dead. We're not talking about overdoses here. We're not talking about overdoses. We're not talking about accidental deaths. Car crashes. No, we're talking homicide murders, where you're killed by somebody else because they are doing bad things. A crime, a criminal act. That's what we're talking about. 1 per day. 1 per day. So here, if you're a progressive, and you're supposed to fix things, and you care about people, and you believe in social justice, wouldn't that be your first thing on your, wouldn't that be the first headline? Crime is down, and we still have too much because we got one person killed every day, and I'm going to reduce that. Instead, you got a lie that says, oh yeah, crime is down, and we're better than 60 years ago. 60 years ago, there was close to 4 million people in our city. We almost had double the amount of people. Think about how corruptive of a brain that is. In 1960, we had double the amount of people in Chicago. And the person tries to put those two together with today's statistics, right? These are all the suburbanites running to go home. They're scared. You see them all on the highway there? They're mucho scared, though. They don't want to talk to the bad hombres there, man. Those guys, see that there? They're all scared. All suburbanites leaving. Right there. So this is some radio calls, right? That's enough of me talking. That's too much talking for me.
Alright, I appreciate it.
Oh, and by the way, this is what I was talking about. Oh, I forgot, and I was continuing this before the news started. Remember that other page I just posted on George Jefferson? I was talking about that guy. I don't know his real name, if it's a man, woman, or what. So he was putting fight videos on, red line fight videos, and everybody loved it. So then he started doing social commentary, saying, this is bad. Drugs, dysfunction, violence. He started doing things where you can tell his videos switched from pure fight videos to social commentary. And look at on my page. What did he say? Now he's being threatened by people who say they're going to kill him. Yeah, and he's a fight video, man. He's pure fight. He ain't me, man, running around talking smack, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't even talk on his videos almost. Yeah, George Jefferson, look at him. That post is a threat to him. So we all get threatened. Every person who shows what's happening in the city of Chicago, the corruption, the dysfunction, the malfeasance, the violence, we all get threatened. Every one of us. Why? Because the power that be wants the violence. And that's where I'm trying to get the loop here. And then we're going to get to the 5:30 news, because 5:30 is the local news. Imagine someone who believes in social justice, who believes in treatment, not trauma, who believes in defunding the police, who believes really not in defunding, he wants to abolish the police. That's his position, to abolish the police. A true progressive, he calls himself. A true progressive. That has what? A murder a day in the city, every day, and most of those are black? We're going to do that study soon. Well, I'm not telling you guys what I'm working on, and I'm not going to tell you where I'm getting the data from. There's a report I'm going to publish pretty soon. It's going to shock everyone. You're going to be, when you see what I'm working on, you're going to be angry. You're going to be angry. You're going to be angry. And I'll say it one more time. You're going to be extremely angry. Extremely angry. And there's only one person to blame for it, the current mayor. The current mayor. Not Lightfoot, not 30, 40 school closings of Rahm, which is bullshit, because Rahm didn't knock down no building. You know who, that's part of my report, and I'll give you a little leak here. You know who bulldozed the most schools? You know who bulldozed the most schools? Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson demolished the most public schools in the city of Chicago. He demolished them. Rahm closed them and repurposed them. Lightfoot repurposed them. Do you know who demolished the most public schools in the city of Chicago? Brandon Johnson. You know where most of those schools were? Hint. Black communities. You know where most of those schools are demolished? What they have going on? Gentrification. I'm not going to tell you anything more of what I'm working on. It's all straight statistics. It's all data. It's real data. It's not fake data. You can't cheat on the data that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you some data. It's going to make you, and I'm going to say it one last time, we're going to listen to this, very angry. Let's listen to it. You're going to be extremely angry. .530 News.
Or after
after Mendoza announced she wasn't running for re-election as Illinois comptroller. She stressed fiscal competence in paying down billions in unpaid bills and earning credit upgrades, and focused on violent crime in the city.
My administration will stand behind the brave men and women of the Chicago Police Department.
Among those who crowded here into Los Comales restaurant was Tuan Huynh, who says Mendoza's been a champion for his West Loop coffee shop since they met about 4 years ago.
Just a dear friend, beyond a candidate, beyond a comptroller. She's just a wonderful human being, and I'm excited to see her lead the city.
Mendoza says small businesses are key to growing Chicago.
Yep, she's
said
right.
To work in all neighborhoods.
Yep.
She came in 5th in the mayoral primary
She's right.
7 years ago in a crowded field. In Little Village, Nancy Hardy, News Radio 1059.
If she's the only candidate, she's got my vote.
Chicago, Brandon Johnson. We have new details about his contacts lately with execs from the Bears ahead of the stalled effort in Springfield to encourage the team to stay in Illinois.
Bears fans deserve to be able to enjoy the Bears on the lakefront.
And Mayor Johnson told Rahimi and Harris on our sister station 104.3 The Score that the plan he and Bears CEO Kevin Warren rolled out 2 years ago to remake the museum campus around a new domed stadium is still the only real plan on the table.
We were working out a term sheet because that's what you do in negotiations.
And even though the mayor said he's been in what he called constant communication with Bears executives, that contact ended more than a month ago.
So no contact since April, though? No, not since April.
And lawmakers in Springfield say that contact between the Bears and the city played a role in the failure to reach agreement on incentives aimed at what the Bears have claimed is their preferred Illinois site in Arlington Heights. The team still has not commented on the latest developments beyond a short statement saying they'll have an update once they announce their decision between Arlington Park and Hammond. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 1059. WBBM.
2 animal handlers at the Washington Park Zoo in Michigan City were injured by wolves this morning. This comes after the zoo reported the deaths of 2 other animals.
The city's Parks and Recreation Department reported the zoo lost 2 animals overnight. A wolf died of natural causes and a lemur died of lung failure. The attack occurred as 2 staff members, both women, were tending to the wolf in the exhibit. It was about 8 a.m. One woman suffered injuries all over her body. She was found on the floor, seriously injured. 2 wolves were reported to be secured and howling in small cages. A third was not. The second woman suffered a single bite to an arm. She was rescued from the exhibit after firefighters lowered a ladder. There was 1 wolf in the exhibit that had not been caged. A statement from the city says both women are stable and the matter remains under review. Mike Krauser, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
5:34 now to Capitol Hill, where the House has approved a war powers resolution for the first time that would halt the U.S. military action against Iran. Today's action.
That kid's out there, they should be doing homework. It's 5:30 instead of being used to beg for money, right? This is a former shelter there.
Joined Democrats last month in advancing a similar measure to curtail the U.S. campaign against Iran. The Senate has yet to take a final vote to approve or reject its own war powers resolution. A CEO is under arrest in Newport Beach, California, after accused of illegally selling U.S. computer technology to Iran.
Jamshid Gomi is a CEO of an Iran-based technology company. Federal agents have been seen at his $35 million mansion in Newport Beach, California. Federal prosecutors say Gomi has been illegally selling U.S. computer technology to the Iranian government. They say he was acquiring sophisticated networking, security, and encryption equipment and was selling it to Iranian customers, including for the Iranian regime's nuclear and military needs. He allegedly moved millions of dollars from Iran accounts into his U.S. bank account.
This page does a lot of videos, especially fight videos on the Red Line. Once they started doing social commentary, they started getting death threats.
Committee grilled U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over high gas prices.
That's Brandon Johnson's social media tactics. Attack anyone that tells the truth.
Play the economic conditions and said once the war in Iran concludes, prices will then stabilize. Here, New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan challenges Bessent's assessment
attacking
of
social media pages.
Groceries are going down, and to be clear, since President Trump took office, food prices, or as many people like to call them, groceries, food at home in the statistical data, is up 2.5%.
When's the last time you were in a grocery store? Because my husband and I were just in one. And look, the average Granite Stater is paid, let me be clear, the average Granite Stater has paid $3,000 more since Donald Trump took office for basic goods and services. Meanwhile, the country lost 100,000 manufacturing jobs in 2025. So do you tell the president this information or not?
Again, Senator, except for inflation, which is, I believe, going to be a short-term blip, the economic data is very strong.
The cost of buying food at the grocery store was actually up 2.9% in April. That is the highest level since 2023. Speaking of prices, we're going to check in on some relatively low gas prices, traffic, and weather next.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm in the middle of the intersection and you walk in front of my fucking car. What the fuck's wrong with you, man? I'm in the middle of the intersection. The lady just goes right in the middle of my car. Whatever.
Same day.
It is what it is. I told you. Stop, look, and listen. When you're driving, take a look at people. Do they stop, look, and listen? Remember how we grew up? Stop, look, and listen. Remember those days? We learned stranger danger, stop, look, and listen, don't do drugs, stay off drugs, say no, all those things, right? I forget everything, right? But when you're walking or when you're going around town, you gotta pay attention if you're driving. Look at people. Do they stop, look, and listen? Think about that. Think about this. I'm 58. I don't know how old everybody on here is, and I don't know what you guys believe in or whatever it is, right? It is what it is. We all are different. I hope everyone, this is what I always say about my page. I'm going to say it here, right? You know what? We'll go up here. We'll go up here where the tent city is. This is a $1 billion project. All these are $1 billion projects here. And they got a tent city right here with drugs, and they give them new tents so they can buy new drugs. That's what we, right? Down here, right? This is the K2 development. Look it up. Look it up. There's a drug camp right here. You'll see it. You'll see it right here, right? You gotta watch it. You don't drop off if you park, right? Look at that. It's all drugs over here, man. This is a drug man. He's got a fucking big tent here, man. I'm sorry about me using bad words. Look at that, man. That's like a mansion there. Look at that. Most of these guys are from the chocolate factory here. See that big tent there, man? That's like a double duty. Look, he's buying drugs right there. You'll see him. I bet you that guy might be drying drugs right there, right? There you go, right? See that there? Where'd that guy go? So he doesn't live there. He just came there to get something, huh? See that there? I forgot what I was talking about because I just seen this because I got to concentrate. So, now I remember. Stop, look, and listen. Hunched over. This is a zombie camp. It's a zombie drug camp. So, whether you like me or not, whether you agree with me or not, whatever you think, remember my video is the video. The video is the video, right? You can agree with what I say or I don't say. It doesn't matter, right? Well, I'm going to talk about stop, look, and listen. As children and as young adults and as infants, we learn certain things. And they were ingrained into us through the educational system, right? See that guy there? He has a gold watch on. That guy there standing there, if you zoom in, he's got a gold watch. That guy's got a gold watch there. You see that there? He's got a gold watch on, huh? Living in a tent camp. See that there? You just see that? You just seen that? Or you didn't see that? You see that? So he's got a gold watch, but he's sitting inside a tent. Why do you think he would do that? Why would someone have a gold watch on and you're homeless in a tent under a bridge? That makes sense to you? Wouldn't you sell the gold watch and get yourself a place to live? That gold watch might be what, 4 or 5 grand? If it's a real gold watch, it might be 20 grand, right? If it's a fake gold watch, maybe it's a few hundred. Still, that's money. I'd be selling my watch. I'd be living in a place. I wouldn't be living in a tent, would you? There you go. You just seen that. So, stop, look, and listen. Crossing the streets. When you go around, start looking at that. When you don't, you gotta pay attention while you're driving. Right? That's a migrant there, sitting there in that chair there. That's a migrant. See that? They're all doped up down there. See that there? That guy's hunched over. See it? So the question has to start becoming, as we grew up, we learned stop, look, and listen. Stop, look, and listen. Why? So you don't get run over by a car. It don't matter if you have a stop sign, green light, whatever it is. But we learned as children, stop, look, and listen. When you come to an intersection, a sidewalk, stop, look, and listen. Now if you walk around, you drive around, you're on a bus, look at the people who are walking on the streets through crosswalk. They will not stop. They walk right into traffic. Some of them are looking at their phones. They won't stop. They walk right into traffic. So what has happened in the time when I grew up, and I'm 58, to now, right? So I was in grammar school when I was in the 70s and 80s. So 40 years ago, we learned stop, look, and listen. 40 years later, people walk in the intersection without looking. They're looking at their phones, right? You're looking at a drug camp at the K2 development. This is Halstead right above us here, right? See that? All these new things. So if you don't do stop, look, and listen, are you going to stop, look, and listen at this? Are you going to say, what is this? Are you going to stop and say, what is this tent city? Why are there new tents here? It's the first of the month. That's why there's new tents. Why do people choose to live in tents? Are they living in tents because they want to? Are they drug addicted? Do they have issues with mental illness? Do they have other things going on? Are they running from the law? What is it? Well, if you're not trained to stop, look, and listen, and if you walk in an intersection while you're looking at your phone, while there's cars driving, then you're not going to stop, look, and listen at this thing either, are you? And if somebody puts it on the video, what are you going to say? Oh, that's a bad man. He's videotaping something that I don't like to see, and they told me this is normal. It's normal to have homeless people under a bridge doing drugs, hiding from crime, and doing whatever other things they're doing in this encampment. These are the guys that used to stay over at the chocolate factory, Bloomer Chocolate Factory. It was $1 billion company per year. It was the largest chocolate processing place in North America, maybe in the whole hemisphere. $1 billion a year. You know what mayor it closed down under? It closed down under Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson lost that business. And then he tells you when you're looking at this tent camp, that's not what you see. You don't see drug addicts. You don't see criminals. You see people that are suffering, that are homeless, and need compassion and empathy. They do. But how do you need to know that unless you see it? Unless you think about it, unless you know it, unless you stop, look, and listen. Stop, look, and listen. Think about it, right? Stop, look, and listen. Just look around next time you go. If you got grandkids or kids in school, ask them, do they teach them that? Stop, look, and listen. Ask your family if they do. And then just look around. Once you start walking around and driving around, start looking at people and how they go into intersections. And then think about how that will permeate through society. If you're not careful of what you're doing and where you're going, and if you're not taught to stop, look, and listen, then are you going to even care about what's going on? And if somebody tells you what you're looking at is something else and it's not what you're seeing, then are you going to believe them or not? Right? You kind of get where I'm going with that? Then anyone can tell you whatever you want. Then we're in George Orwell time, right?
Myself and 13 at the Cubs game. I think it was that number today. Yep, today's number is 08848.
Stop, look, and listen. Drug camp underneath Halstead by the K2 developments.
That one is 08846. 08846.
See the young guys there? There's young people down there.
212. Well, believe it or not, he found that car off of Grand and Lakeshore. I don't know if you ever had anything on it. The victim never said that they were going to stop either. I'm over here all the way on the south end. Okay, no worries. I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
That's a drug can. That's pure drugs there.
Number 8295, Ron Roosevelt, eastbound from Paulina. Yes, that is 10369. Well, thank you. Speed 300 171 is en route for transport. I never actually got one. I put you down a note. If that helps? That's all good. That's pretty much what happened. Alright, let's use that time then. I'll mark that as a ticket for 1702. 7 minutes, Charlie. Charlie, it's 10392. 73300, good? You get that event number, you can disregard that transport vehicle. Okay, 10-4. It's 10341. 10341. Thank you. Yep, that is 10.
I'm on my way, like I'm led to fade. No weak links, no fake friends.
04.
If the load get heavy, I double clutch.
05.
Cheat today.
Strokes this one.
Units are 22 and citywide. We have an assault in progress on 105th and Hale and 105th. Others stating 15 people at the park about
Stop, look, and listen. Just observe that. Do me a favor. You know what? Let's check in. What is today? Wednesday? Why don't we do 1 week? Next Wednesday, I'm going to do every week, we're going to do an assignment. Remember, I used to be a teacher, right? So next week, Wednesday, I'm going to say everybody to check in. Just do that experiment. Stop, look, and listen. Stop, look, and listen. All right? Stop, look, and listen. You look, and then, I get it, people cross in all kinds of spaces. I'm talking about at crosswalks. Just specifically at crosswalks. When you get to a crosswalk, look if somebody stops, looks, and watch that lady there. Is she gonna cross? She's not. Just look at the crosswalks. Don't look at anywhere else, right? Because then that confuses the experiment. At a crosswalk, see if somebody stops, looks, and listens. Got that? Look at this one up here, right? Watch this. Oh, there you go. You got a migrant with her kids, right? See her with the flowers there? And there. Illegal migrant using their child, right? Look at that. Well, you got a festival out here, so it don't work out here. So we gotta find another place. Stop, look, and listen, right? You'll see that guy right there? Did you see him? He didn't slow down, he didn't stop, he just walked right into the intersection. That guy right there with the backpack. Stop, look, and listen. I'm telling you, do this experiment. You're gonna have some fun. If we were really doing a cool experiment, if I was your professor in college now, which they want to hire me in a college. I've applied so many. When I got my PhD, I tried to get a college job. I didn't get any. I've applied to about 300 colleges. None of them want to hire me for some reason. I don't know why. If I was a college professor, we'd do this experiment. If I was a high school guy, I would do this one. I might even do this as a grammar school guy. Again, when you get to an intersection, whatever you're doing, just always pay attention. Don't do anything dangerous. I'm not telling you to do, just observe, observe, observe. That's it. Again, if I was a professor or a teacher, I'd make you guys take a tally of it, right? That lady just stopped and looked and listened. That lady stopped, looked. These three people here, that lady, that guy, and there was another lady there, all stopped, looked, and listened. Watch. You want to see over there? Watch this one. Look over there. Watch. Did they stop? No. Look. Did you see them all? See that? All those people, none of them stopped, look, and listen. And they're all younger than us. They're maybe in their 30s. So none of them learned stop, look, and listen. Who took that out of our schools? Get it? Look at this lady over there. Watch. Look at that one. She didn't stop, look, and listen. Look at it. We just seen about 8 people right here in one intersection. Just, dude, look, this is what I'll take. Get a coffee, get a tea, get a soda. You can't smoke really around people, but you get your cigarette if you do that. I don't care. I don't care if you do whatever. I don't care if you smoke, drink, whatever you do, man. Whatever. Sit at a corner and just watch it and do a tally. Maybe I should do an assignment. How many people do you see that stop, look, and listen at an intersection, right? You just seen about 8 people. I seen 3 that did, and I seen 8 that didn't. So the majority don't. And those ones that did stop, look, and listen, they were more closer to my age. They looked like they were in their 40s. But the younger ones don't. So that means they removed it from the schools. So what else did they remove from the schools? And here, this is the thing that you always got to think about with time. The school is a time thing, just like a factory, right? If they took out teaching stop, look, and listen, what did they replace it with? That's the more concerning thing. Forget that they didn't learn it. Because you can always learn something like swimming or bicycling or reading or math. You can always learn something if you want to, no matter how old you are. It's not good if you don't know how it's basic safety, right? Stop, look, and listen is basic safety, right? It's basic safety. Basic. So forget that. But thing on there he goes, he's giving out tickets there, that guy. He's giving out tickets. Right there. There's a ticket guy. And there's no parking here, right? Look at all the parking here. Everybody's empty here, right? But he's yet giving tickets to where people are parked. Kind of silly, right? See, that guy stopped, looked, and listened. That guy stopped, looked, and listened. He stopped, looked, and listened. You can see it. He was trained, right, by some teacher a long time ago. So forget that you didn't learn that, right? Forget that. Forget that part. Forget that part. This is the bigger thing. That's really important. You can smell the dope smell around here. Somebody smoking dope around here. I just why cold. You can smell the dope smell. All came into my car, right? Fucking, I can smell it. It's all dopey around here, right? Fucking nasty, right? I don't care if you smoke dope. I think it should be legal. I think it should be like alcohol. You show your ID, you can buy it in any store, any place, any state. If you want 1 billion pounds of weed and you smoke it all, you can smoke as much as you want. I could care less. I think weed is less dangerous than alcohol. That's my personal opinion. I think they should outlaw alcohol, but that experiment didn't work. Right? I think alcohol does more damage than marijuana. That's my view. And I think it should be legal like alcohol. You can buy it in any store. And you just card the person. 21, that's it. Buy whatever you want. Just like a booze bottle. That guy stopped, looked, and listened. This guy stopped. He stopped. This guy walking here, you see his older guy, he stopped at the edge. He looked at me, and then he went forward when he see that I was stopping. So here's the point. Forget about the safety issue of training, right? This is the bigger problem that we have as taxpayers. If they don't teach stop, look, and listen, then what are they teaching? That guy didn't stop, look, and listen. Not this guy. He's a younger guy, right? He didn't. And he's got earphones on or whatever he's got in his earbuds, right? But that's the bigger question that we all as citizens have to start asking. I've been telling everybody this. If you've got grandkids, nieces, nephews, your kids, I think most of us on this showing that you watch me have older kids or are there. If you have little kids that are in school, whatever it is, your family, and you need permission if you're a not direct parent, you need permission from the parent. You have to write it and give it to the school. You should be auditing your school. Wherever the family member of yours goes to school, wherever it is, even if it's private school, you should audit it. Every parent under No Child Left Behind has that right in our society. There's a law that says that. And you can designate somebody to do that. Now, you can go anytime. You just got to give them notice, and they can't stop you. And they can't tell you, oh, we'll do it on such and such a date. No, you have a right to audit the classroom. As long as you're not disrupting, you have a right to audit. If it's your direct relative, your parent, you have a right to do that. It's under No Child Left Behind. I'm hungry, though. I think my wife cooked something at home, though. Yeah, I think I got... all right, we're going to get something. I'm going to stop somewhere, right? We're going where? I'm not going to say where we're going. So, the question isn't... No, I won't. Can I get a... what do you got? What kind of meals do you got? A $5 meal and a $6 meal, right?
Yeah, we have the McChicken $5 deal or the McDouble $6 deal.
Well, you got any other ones or not?
No, or the hot spicy McChicken deal 5.
Nah, I don't want that. Why don't you give me the $6 one and give me I'll take a Dr. Pepper today, all right?
What's the sauce?
Excuse me? Oh, the sauce. The sauce. Why don't you just give me a barbecue sauce?
Anything?
No, that's it.
No, thank you.
So the idea isn't that they weren't trained to. Like I said, you can learn how to swim and ride a bike and stop, look, and listen later. And why do I tell everybody that you should go to your classrooms and check what they're teaching, right? Audit. It's called auditing. Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, there you go.
671.
Got that? Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I don't need it. Take it easy. Here's the bigger question, and this is why I tell everybody that you got kids in the schools. And I'm not trying to start a revolution or nothing like that. It's not like I'm a troublemaker. Look, I'm an educator. I'm telling you what to do. I know the rules. I have a license to be a principal. Man. Hey, what's up, my brother? Good seeing you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Well, I'm around. You know, I go all around the city, so. All right, I'm a little hungry today, so I gotta get some food, man. This is the place I come to when I need food on the west side, right? So the idea is this. This is a good McDonald's. They run a good McDonald's here. It's on Ogden and Lake. Is this. And that's why I tell everybody, if you have kids in the schools, you need to go there. You need to be part of your kids' education, one way or another. And the easiest way through No Child Left Behind is to audit it. Again, parents have the direct right to audit any classroom at any time. That's the right. That's the, when I read the law, they can't stop you. You just can't be crazy and disrupting. Say, hey, I want to audit the class today. You can't say, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, you want to audit it. You have a right to be there, right? It's called they're in loco parentis, but you're the parentis. All right, take it easy, my brother. Good seeing you, okay? Take it easy, brother. So, I'm telling you all of this why. And we started where at the drug camp, right? Underneath the K2 development on Halsted. What are they teaching you there? Because if you're teaching stop, look, and listen, that takes what? Maybe, I don't know. Because when you learn teaching, you learn things, topics. And then you have time to teach that, right? And there's certain topics and skills that take a certain amount, like me, using a table saw. For me, I would say that's about a 2 to 3 week lesson. You say, well, what do you mean, John? That's quick, man. You just turn it on, cut the wood. No, that's not how it works. You gotta teach what the machine is, what the wood is, what the safety is, what the cutoffs are, what the first aid is, blah, 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 blah. And that all takes lessons. And then in high school, you only got an hour, right, usually, class. I had 2-hour class because I had double periods. So you got to map it out, right? So it's a 3-week lesson. And then at that time, maybe you let somebody use the saw and you do it in its individual, right? So then if you have 30 kids, each kid has to use the saw. That's 10 minutes each kid, 15 minutes each kid. So you got to map it out, right? So it might be longer than 3 weeks. It's about a 3-week lesson. Learning a table saw is about a 3-week lesson from beginning to end. It can be faster, it can be longer, it doesn't matter. But so every kid knows how to use it. You want to, in my teaching profession, you have to get every kid to be 90 to 95% proficient. So teaching a table saw takes 3 weeks for 30 students, I would say. Maybe a little longer, maybe a little less. So if you're teaching, stop, look, and listen to kids, little kids. First, second grade, maybe, right? How long does that take for them to understand what it is? Because why? You're actually teaching, and this is pedagogy now. I'm telling you guys some really old pedagogy. This is 200 years pedagogy. This is from Pestalozzi. This is Johann Pestalozzi. He's and Camus, 2 guys. One is Slovak, one was German or something, or Italian, French. These guys were the beginnings of pedagogy. Pedagogy is how you teach. These are before teaching. These guys, Pestalozzi was teaching orphans. Camus was teaching, I forget who he was teaching, but both of them got persecuted because they were teaching young people how to think, critically think, right? To be independent. And the reason it's difficult to teach young kids is what? Young kids are innocent. They believe everything is good. A young child doesn't look and listen. Why? Because he believes everybody's good. He believes his mom. He believes his dad. It's a loving environment, right? So stop, look, and listen is very difficult for a little kid because you're teaching him somebody might harm him, right? All right, I'll get back to that. Stop, look, and listen pedagogy. And then we're going to listen to the news right now, right? The news is on, right? 6:06.
AM.
I believe government should answer to the people it serves, not political insiders or special interests.
The native of Little Village and former State House member has been Illinois' official accountant since 2016, and before that was the first woman to serve as Chicago's city clerk. Mendoza's brother is a Chicago police officer, and she's been critical of aspects of the state's bail reform law known as the SAFE-T Act.
Chicagoans are tired of paying more and getting less. Tired of politics that divides people without solving problems.
She ran for mayor in 2019, but was hurt by her longtime association with now convicted former Alderman Ed Burke and did not advance to the runoff. What we don't know is if she'll face the incumbent Mayor Brandon Johnson. He has repeatedly refused to say when or whether he'll launch a re-election campaign. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
After allegedly threatening the Chief Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court, an Indianapolis man is now facing felony charge.
Michael Cable, who's 52, is alleged to have written a letter to Chief Justice Loretta Rush saying your families will be murdered, maimed, mutilated, tortured, torn to pieces, and strung up to the rafters. Court documents show that he claimed to be the last grandson of Jesus Christ. He declared himself judge and jury of mankind. If and when I'm king, he wrote, there's going to be televised executions. State Police Sergeant John Perrine says threats can escalate to violence, and it's something police take very seriously. Cable has been here before, 9 other times, having allegedly made threats, mostly against women. He's charged with intimidation. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And there were some scary moments for a family this morning after their car was stolen with their baby in it on Chicago's South Side.
Police found the vehicle abandoned almost 5 miles away from where it was taken. That was near 91st and Urban, just east of the Dan Ryan. Police say a 36-year-old man was standing next to the car there at about 2:15 this morning when someone got in and drove off. Jelani Edie told Channel 7 he was running down the street trying to tell the person who stole his car that his son was in the back seat. Unable to get them to stop, Edie called 911. Police say no one was hurt, but they took the baby to the hospital for observation. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And at 6:08, traffic and weather together on the 8th. We have an overturned semi.
So let me finish this pedagogy curriculum. Why it takes longer to teach young infants, infant to toddler, or toddler to infant to toddler. That's the way it goes. There's a whole child development curriculum and how to teach kids and how kids learn and all that. There's a whole study on it. Because kids believe people are innocent. They don't have negativity in them. Babies don't have negativity. Negativity and criminality is trained by adults. Racism is not natural to babies. Baby sees a black person, a white person, a brown person, I don't want to say the color yellow, right? Asian, I'm just using colors now, right? The baby don't care what color the person is as long as they give them milk and change their diaper. And they're happy, goo goo gaga, right? It's only later that they learn racism. They learn criminality. They can learn depravity. They learn vices. They learn negativity. Oh man, I gotta check this out, man. They got a lot of wood here. We gotta grab all this wood. I don't have my man. Oh, that's plywood there. Look at that. How thick is that plywood? I can use that. Oh man, we can build my toilet with that. Look at that. And it's already made. Those are walls there, but that's pretty thin. Oh no, is that thin or not? That's thin. That's only a 1/4 inch thick. Man, if I had a big truck, I'd grab all that wood right now. Look at that. You can build a little shed with that out at my ranch. See that there? That's got how many walls there, man? That's got just 2 walls. I'm gonna start doing wood again. Everybody knows you've been watching my show. I used to do wood. So children learn negativity and criminality and depravity from adults. It's not natural. And they've done these studies with babies, right? They put a baby with a white person, a black person, a darker person, a light-skinned person. It don't matter. The baby don't care. The baby don't see the color. The baby sees color. I'm not saying they don't see color, but they don't care. They don't differentiate. It's when they grow older, they learn racism, they learn criminality, they learn subjugation, they learn putting people down, they learn biases and all of that. This is long history studies, right? Those couple of guys that I told you about, Pestalozzi and Camus, and there's some others, taught against that, right? They said you shouldn't teach that because as you're teaching, you should never teach negativity. You should teach positivity, right? And you should teach skills, right? So here's the dilemma here. When you teach stop, look, and listen, you're teaching that somebody might hurt you. They might not stop the car and they might run you over. So you have to protect yourself. So you're teaching the child. What are you teaching the child? You're teaching the child that someone might hurt them, right? There used to be wood in this one here. And there's another one with a lot better wood over here. So we've seen that wood there. I gotta get my van or a truck. There used to be a lot of stuff here though. That's all messed up. There might be somebody living back here, right? This is heavy industry still. This is still industrial here. So what Pestalozzi and Camus said, you have to be extremely careful not to teach those negative behaviors to children, because if you do when they're small, they become criminals. And that's one of the things that they didn't like them teaching, right? Because you're teaching anti-criminality. You're teaching behavioral stuff that makes a person be a good person rather than a bad person, right? And basically what those guys taught is that that kids learn to be criminals from adults that have bad behaviors, and they want criminals, right? It kind of sounds familiar. Does it sound familiar to what we're living through in Chicago here with the YNs, right? Now, the other part of that study is Darwinism, right? Darwin said you need to survive. That's the antelope story, right? You can't tell somebody, oh, the lion is nice, and don't worry about the lion, he won't eat you, because the lion will eat you. So it's a balancing act between Darwinism and the pedagogy of the good, I'll call it, right? Where you're teaching good character behavior in young people and little kids. So the problem becomes when they're not teaching that, and they're not teaching young people and babies and little kids in schools how to survive, how to be honest, how to be productive, how to use your hands, how to use your mind, how do you mix both, how do you do your hands and your mind? It's not college versus trades, it's both. You have to do both, and sometimes you're better at college than you're at the trades, and sometimes people are better at trades than at college. Sometimes people are better at military, sometimes people are good at politicians, whatever it may be. That's another discussion for another day. How do you pick your vocation? Well, we're talking about good and bad here, right? Stop, look, and listen. When the school doesn't teach that, that means they're teaching something else. And if they're not teaching a young person or a baby or an infant or a little kid in grammar school or primary grades, they used to call it primary grades, how to survive, how to be productive, and how to be a good citizen. There you go, man. There you go. You got a nice community garden. Please don't steal the shelf. There you go. You can get plants there. See that? I asked my wife what kind of short my car is overheating. Then what are they teaching these kids? And I'm going to go on the circle completely back. Then we're going to listen to some radio calls because we might have missed some crime. If you're not teaching our young kids and our future generations to stop, look, and listen, then what are they teaching them? Why are they walking out into the street, into traffic, without basic survival skills? What's the substitute of that education? Do you see where I'm getting here? Because again, you got this time in school. If you're not teaching stop, look, and listen, then you're teaching something else. And if that something else isn't producing productive young adults, then we need to be very, very concerned. Because why? Education, we pay for it. All of us pay for education. All of us do. Whether you pay your property taxes or not. And we all have a place to stay. We all have a place to stay. But we also pay when young people are not properly educated and then become what? Either criminals or they become delinquent or whatever else they become, right? It's a little rough back here. All right. So that's an important thing. Again, you have a right to audit your kids' classrooms. You got any trouble, you send me a message. I'll tell you the legal language to use, all right? And you have a right to have one of your relatives be there, but it's a little trickier with that. They don't really technically have the right away unless you give them that in writing, and you have to do that ahead of time. All right, let's some radio calls.
Thank you.
Alright, take 10654. 10654. 83, right? Correct?
2138 South Archer.
Alright, that's going to be 10660. 10660.
7385 Eddie.
85 Eddie. Your number is 10666. 10666.
3213.
3213.
Relocate this 18 and Lakeshore.
Alright, that's
83 item.
83 item.
That number read by Jackson.
Alright, that's 10703. 10703. 83 Eddie.
Can I get an RG for 460?
Alright, that's going to be John Keene. 280612. 280612. The event is 09910. 09910. 7362.
The drop off, Chinatown.
It's 0745. 10745.
The 383 Lincoln.
83 Lincoln.
The Chicago Red.
Take 10751. 10751. 85 John.
Can I get numbers for Red Island?
Alright, take 10757. 10757.
88 F.
88 Adam.
That number, blue line and return.
That's 10762. 10762. Alright, I'm going to Lakeshore Driving. That's if anybody's available getting a crash on Illinois, Lakeshore Drive in Illinois. There's a two-car accident, airbag deployed. It's a red Ford and a black SUV. Cars on the way. I got nothing further.
215.
3215.
Well, I just passed Illinois and Lakeshore Drive. I didn't see anything, so that's probably going to be this is.
Alright, 10-4.
3720.
3720.
7320 squad.
7320.
Show me a Clark and Lake red line train out there. Hand Weaver out here, squad. Complaining of busyness. Fuel ammo over here.
Alright, Clark and Lake Red Line, not gonna roll in. Are you street level?
7320 99. We're heading the corner. Clark and Lake.
Okay, 10-4.
85 Ida.
85 Ida.
Can I get a number and lower for 36th Street red line, please?
I can give you one. You want upper?
10-4.
Alright, 10863. 10863.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
383 Ida.
83 Ida.
Red number, red line Jackson.
Alright, take 10882. 10882.
383 David.
83 David.
The number, Garfield, red line.
That's 10887. 10887.
387 boy.
87, please.
That's number 8645. We're heading westbound on Roosevelt from Damon.
I'm going to pull over and clean off my windshield
Your
in a
number
second.
is 10890. 10890.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome.
85 Eddie.
85 Eddie.
Good night, red line.
10893. 10893.
362.
7362.
55 for the red.
That's going to be 10899. 10899.
8385 George.
They got a community garden right there.
Hit the number for Garfield is red line.
Community garden right there. See that now? That's positive activity.
109.
As long as it ain't part of gentrification, they're using the land to push people out. And it's positive activity, right? Oh, we're caught up on the radio calls. Chicago Mozart Community Garden. Christy Weber. She started as a super small business cutting lawns. A really big, and I'll say this now, you know, she's one of the first super successful gay businesses. And she doesn't really promote that much. She does it once in a while, but I know it because I've watched how that business has grown. She focuses on her work and growing her business. That's her focus. It's a really good company, Christy Weber. Again, you want to be gay or LGBTQ or whatever, it's all right. It has nothing to do with it. And we should figure out if there's a marginalized community, whatever it is, that they have the equal opportunity, but you shouldn't have a step up. And I use her as Christy Weber as one of those examples, right? It's a really good company. Oh, I gotta wipe my hands off here. They're all greasy. Oh yeah, I've been eating since we were playing the radio calls there. Now my hands are all greasy. I gotta wipe them off somehow. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. And I gotta pull over and clean the windshield off. I have an idea where I might end up tonight. We'll see. Can't get in there. They got a gate there. Whatever. You gonna see how these tents are doing over here? Maybe I'll pull over somewhere over here. See how these tents are doing over here.
Frequency mode. Thank you. We're also going to be assisting suburbs, but we're still available. Okay, 10-4.
That's the helicopter. I'm gonna pull over somewhere and clean my windshield.
Good afternoon. We're going to use evidence 10952. 10952.
Thank you. We're also going to be assisting suburbs, but we're still available.
Okay, 10-4.
$320.
7320.
Question to this amble 431.
10-4.
Yeah.
There you go, right? A couple of new tents, right? These are new tents there, right? And they're blocking the sidewalk. You see that there? You can't walk there. So. You can't walk there. The sidewalk's blocked. He's got all this stuff on the sidewalk. I'm gonna pull over here, right?
385 Frank.
85 Frank.
And this is that number for the 6th steering bright line.
Sure, it's 10972. 10972.
They got all new tents there. See that? I showed this to you about a month ago, didn't I? Why did they get all those new tents, huh?
385 item.
These are all brand new tents there, right?
Can we get a roller for 35th Street red line?
Clean off the windshield real quick, alright?
It's 10977. 10977.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Units in AC in the city wagon, a person with the gun, 737 North Michigan, 737 North Michigan. Female black pulled a gun on him and said she was going to kill him. She walked inside of the building of this address at 737 North Michigan. Follows on my street, served by choice no further, District 18, Zone 4.
Voice.
83 boy.
Number for red line 79 Street. Thank you.
It's 10999. 10999.
Six.
7363.
Yeah, drop off at Mac in the rear.
Use event 11018. 11018.
Ready to get out of here, everybody? So the knife on Michigan Avenue, right? Let's see what we got here. Well, that's a little better with the windshield, right? So those are new tents there. When was that? Michigan Avenue? Person with a knife.
83 boy.
385 Ida.
85 Ida.
Can we get a lower for 31st Street red line, please?
It's 10977. 10977.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Unit that I see in the city wagon, a person with a gun, 737 North Michigan, 737 North.
385 Ida.
Unit that I see in the city wagon, a person with a gun, 737 North Michigan, 737 North Michigan. Female black pulled a gun on him and said she was going to kill him. She walked inside of the building of this address, 737 North Michigan. Follows up line, speaking her back towards no further, District 18, zone 4.
That's downtown, right?
3 boy.
Number for red line 79 Street. Thank you.
It's 10999. 10999.
7363.
7363.
Yeah, drop off at American Arena.
Alright, usually that's 11018. 11018.
So 85 George.
85 George.
Number for follow the line. Airfield on the red line.
Alright, your number is 11032. 11032.
362.
7362.
The number for drop off at 63 in the red.
Alright, use 11039. 11039.
91 David.
91 David.
I had a check at SubX, and then can you hold Charlie here as well?
Alright, that's going to get you 11053. 11053.
Going on the Mag Mile, right? There you go, man. Can't make that stuff up, eh? You heard it here, right? There you go. There's tents right there, right? 3 years the guy's been in office. He hasn't fixed it, right? He's just moved these people around. He hasn't fixed anything. You just seen 3 new tents there. On that side, those tents weren't there the last time I was here. So someone's giving these people tents.
Three 89 Adam.
89 Adam.
Get a number for a platform. It's Blue Line, Northern Medical District.
Alright, it's 11066. 11066.
3387 Charlie.
87 Charlie.
Number for Howard in the red, please.
Howard is 11072. 11072. You're welcome.
Ready to get out of here or what? Let's go see what things are happening all around here, right? I don't know where I'm going. 7 o'clock. I don't know where I'm going to end up, so we'll see. I'll do it. I have an idea where I'm going to do the sunset video from, though, tonight. So we're going to head towards that way. Any more tents right there, right? And the question always becomes, who's supplying these tents? These are new tents here, right? It's 6:35 p.m., June 3rd, 2026. We're on Sacramento here. We're a little south of Chicago Avenue. the question always becomes, this is by the impound lot here, who's supplying these tents? These are new tents. I've been out here, I've talked to these guys, I've been watching this place for a little while. First of all, some of these guys have been moved from underneath Chicago Avenue Viaduct over here. So some of these are relocated transients, right? Or whatever you want to call them. But for sure, someone's giving them these tents. That is a very expensive tent there. It's an extremely expensive tent. So somebody has the resources to give those tents out and keep giving them out. So it's intentional. It's not accidental. And if it's intentional, then what's the intention to keep giving people tents? And around here, there's a lot of industrial properties that are empty and land and abandoned buildings. So for all the tents and energy that you're putting out there, why aren't you fixing up buildings and getting these guys, quote, permanent housing? Well, it might be like Spencer Pratt talked about in the LA mayoral campaign, and he's going to move on to the runoff. It might be that these guys, it isn't about homelessness, it's about drug addiction or mental illness. And what Spencer Pratt talked about is it's more drug addiction first. Then it might actually be an underlying issue of mental illness, but it's drugs most of this stuff is. So think about it. We're giving tents to people to keep them on the street so they can keep doing drugs rather than figuring out how to use those resources to get them into a place to get them off the drugs and then maybe get some permanent housing. But instead we're giving out tents. And that's a fact. And it's happening in Chicago. And the more insidious thing in Chicago about that is they sell drugs out of these tent encampments. There's actually guys that live in the tents to sell drugs. It's documented here in Chicago, right? It's not an accident, and it's not something that we're making up, right? So there actually is, it's a fact, NGOs that supply tents, and they might be supplying tents to what? Drug dealers to keep people in these encampments addicted so they can keep collecting whatever money or resources they have, right? That's what I'm talking about here, right? That's the thing that we should start discussing, right? There you go, right? See that there? It's tent encampment on Sacramento, right? These guys have been moved, right? What's up, fellas? You know, I do this all the time. I'm a reporter, so I'm an independent guy. I videotape stuff all around the city. I always talk about, why don't I give you guys a spot rather than keep giving you guys tents? Those are expensive ones, them. They're more expensive than those other ones. And then you guys were over underneath Chicago over there at one time, right? You remember me? I'm gonna come around for years doing this stuff. See, I always say they're putting this. Hey, what's up, my brother? I always say they put so much energy into this. Why don't I do? Look, I get everybody's has problems. I get that. I used to be on the streets too. But if we put a couple of pieces together, I mean, even like take over an abandoned factory. And I don't care. You could do whatever the fuck you want in an abandoned factory. You ain't gonna hurt concrete. And to me, it's safer to be inside than outside, even with a tent. It's a lot safer to have walls around you, whether it's for the weather or for other stuff. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot safer. And they always say, well, when I say this on the videos, they say, oh, well, liability. I said, motherfucker, they're sleeping on the street. Well, what the fuck you talking about liability, motherfucker? It's you too. You guys, I always think of your safety and other people's, but your safety first. That's what I'm talking about. You always you gotta have security. And I always say this, if you want to use a park, then why don't you guys give you like a fenced in area of a park, give you guys a toilet, a shower, and place to cook inside of a park. They just let you, give you a tent and that's it. It's like, and I don't want to say nothing. I'm not going to say who does this, but they got a salary. I ain't got a salary, neither you. I just got a truck and some video. I'm in the same boat. I can sleep in here, by the way. All right, SubX.News, John, man. Maybe I'll stop by. We'll do a longer interview or something. If you guys want, would you want to do that or not? Maybe I'll do it. If you guys are comfortable. I'm not, you're not on the tape now, but you know what I mean? Stop by if you want to tell your story or something like that. Whatever. Say hello to people as long as you ain't running from the feds.
This guy's good for that, bro.
I'll tell you some stories about feds, all right, one day.
Very articulate.
But I got to know you before I tell you my stories, okay? See you, fellas. Good day. Nice seeing you guys. There we go, right? Good guys. They talk to you. There you go. SubX.News on the spot reporting. It's now 6:40 p.m. Oh man, nice guys. So look, they're just hooked up on some stuff usually. That's all. You can say good or bad, right? That's all I gotta say, right? I don't want to cast aspersions, right? Over there at one time. How many resources are we using to keep these guys homeless and addicted rather than using those resources to get them off of drugs and on the right road? 6:30 p.m. June 3rd, 2026, Sacramento tent camp. I missed my window there, didn't I? Alright, let's get there you go, sirens. That's all you hear out here, right? Sirens. Trust me, people are drug addicts and criminals and do bad stuff. There's a small part of the population that you're never going to change, right? Because they learned it from childhood. Remember, we're talking about pedagogy? And they're never going to change, or they got something going on with them. But most people, if you give them an opportunity, you got them, give them a way out, and you support them, not enable them. You know, there's a difference between support and enabling. Right now, we're enabling. Those tents are enablers. They're not support systems. They're enablers. Those tents enable drug addiction, debauchery, and what other bad habits those guys have, because they don't have to worry about that stuff, right? I've interviewed guys all around here. I've interviewed a bunch of people. They tell me I stay in a tent so I can do drugs. I asked the guy before, why don't you want an apartment? He goes, I got an apartment. I rent my apartment out, and I use the money to buy drugs. There you go. There's a lady right there sitting in the little cubby hole, right? Yeah, that guy's jacked up right there, right? Right there, right? There you go. Want to see it? There's a guy jacked up right there, right? See the guy over there? He's all jacked up. See the guy dancing around over there? See that guy right there? He's all jacked up. Right, there you go. See that there? See that guy right there? You good, brother?
Yeah.
All right, man. You be safe, all right?
Yeah, brother, man.
All right, that's all, man. Just always checking in. SubX.News, I'm a reporter, independent reporter, all right?
That's awesome.
All right, be safe, my brother, okay?
All right, wait, hold on. Have a good one.
That's me, brother. If you ever want to do an interview, text me.
Okay, cool.
We'll tell your story, man. As long as you ain't hiding from the feds, then I'm okay. I don't want no federal fugitives on my videos.
No, but I have.
You want to say hello?
I have been riding the fence my whole life.
Say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, what you need any help or not? You're just out here chilling.
Well, I have his card, so I might be getting in touch with him shortly. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
All right, take it easy, my brother. It's good seeing you, all right?
Yeah, you as well.
All right, be safe, my brother, all right?
Thank you, bye-bye.
Take it easy. He's jacked up, that guy. There's another lady in this little cubby hole here. I'll show you. Man, there's somebody that sells all around here, man. Oh, man, that guy's got tools right there, right? And see, there's a lady in the cubby hole right here. You want to see it? There's a lady right there, right? They're all in these cubby holes all around. There you go, SubX.News. There's little kids right across the street. He's a little jacked up over here at 6:45 p.m., June 3rd, 2026. There's someone selling shit around here, right? That's what's happening there. Look, you're hustling, man. I ain't in on your shit, man. Because you got people jumping around in the middle of wherever you jump. Right? I'm thinking of the safety, right? Like those homeless guys. Anyone can come to them and harm them. Remember, there's somebody sitting on the sidewalk there. So what is this showing? There's someone actively selling drugs right here somewhere. It's probably out of a car, maybe. And you got little kids walking around, you got whatever going on, right? It don't matter, right? Even them being drunk and high or whatever they are, it's dangerous to them, right? They're in the middle of traffic, right? They're in the middle of wherever they're at, right? That's my concern, right? And again, why? We are 3 years into this guy's term, and now what? He's gonna spend all this money to fix it all of a sudden in 1 year and say everything got fixed? Yeah, if he does that, then that should be a red flag for you, because that means, again, that was intentional to leave it unfixed. I'm just saying that. I said that earlier. I'm saying it right here. SubX.News. I'm gonna say one more time what I said in my earlier. I believe Brandon Johnson purposely, intentionally allowed crime, drugs, and other debauchery to happen in our city so that the last term of his office, he can pump a bunch of money like they just did into the CTA, $1 billion, and say they fixed it. I'm saying it right here. He intentionally did that. He intentionally allowed people to suffer. He intentionally caused suffering. I'm saying it right here. Because that's what I see. I don't see nothing else, right? Let's go. Listen to some radio calls because you guys are listening to too much of my talking here. Let's put some radio calls on, right? I know these guys. I talked to these guys before, right? There's guys right here, right?
K385
There's guys right here, right?
Hey, 11203. 11203.
Yes, I Henry.
85 Henry.
Is that number for a red line on Addison?
6:49 p.m., June 3rd, 2026. So you've been in power for 3 years as the mayor. Yet these guys are still sleeping under the bridges. What's interesting is, like I've been saying, these guys have new tents. So you intentionally giving these guys tents, right? And there's Jeep, right? See that guy there? There goes those are new tents over there, right? See that there? Those are brand new tents. What's up? There you go, right? And that's what you got to deal with, right? There you go. 6:49 p.m. So the city is intentionally doing it. The city is intentionally allowing drug abuse, drug use, and drug addictions on city streets by enabling NGOs to give out tents rather than using resources to help to give resources to enable. 6:50 p.m., June 3rd, 2026.
Anyway, we have a stop in progress. 6435, head via the Walgreens. Caller face has a male, Hispanic, white baseball cap, yellow or orange top, using from stealing items, no further information, from 13.
From the Walgreens, right?
389 Adams.
89 Adam.
Riding Bishop, eastbound the blue line from Illinois Medical District to Pulaski, car number 71336.
Alright, use 11301. 11301.
387 boys.
87 boy.
And bus number E286. We are out of Roosevelt, eastbound from Kildare.
Alright, your number is going to be 11306. 11306.
7389 boys.
89 boy.
Badge number, blue line, medical district.
Take 11308. 11308.
7387 Adam.
87 Adam.
8141 from 79th and Normal going eastbound. Can I have an event number, please?
Sorry, eastbound from where? Radio kind of cut out.
79th and Normal.
Normal, okay. Alright, that's going to be 11330. 11330.
383 item.
7383
There's somebody sleeping right there.
For red line at Jackson, please.
Alright,
Somebody sleeping right there.
11337.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
383 Mary.
83 Mary. Alright, take 11343.
There's one spot here, right?
11343.
You want to be careful around here. They shoot people around here. What we're gonna do is we'll ride till 7. I'm gonna go hit a place to get the sun. Actually, we still got an hour to do sunset, so I don't know. I might pull over here and restart the video, right? Where should See, people are with kids around here. See that? They have to deal with the drugs and whatever else is going on all around them. Messed up, man. Messed up. We're on Chicago Avenue, if you're wondering. messed up. Brandon Johnson lives right down the street from there. This is his own neighborhood, man. He pumps a bunch of millions into that building. I don't know if that's going to help there. We'll see. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Build back better. Chicago Avenue.
David.
739 with David.
City, can we get a transport?
From Starbucks and the Bread.
It's wild out here. This is a crazy gas station, this one. So.
Traffic accident at 3803 westbound, proposed road.
Alright, I've got him rolling.
33 Roosevelt, that's right down the street. Now, we're far from there.
That's negative on the map. If you got a Spanish speaker available too, that'd be great.
If anybody close by, speak Spanish. I'll find at 3803 West on Roosevelt. Be turned up there.
That's the Israelites there.
There came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious.
Israelites.
7320.
I'll get that exact number from that new Pam, hopefully one.
That was 10826. 10826.
Okay.
boy. 85 boy.
Can we get the event number for 96 in the room?
And for the south, 114115.
Alright, what I'm going to do is we're going to call it 7 o'clock. I'm going to pull into the Culver's at the park and the station there. Let me show you, it's pretty nice over here.
Archer side.
You want to see some nice stuff where they fix a little bit of stuff, then come on out here. That's what I want to show you and I'll end with. Maybe I'll put a little 7 o'clock news and then we'll shut it down. Then I'll turn it back on and we'll go find a sunset place and all of that stuff, right? $7 o'clock. That's just 7 o'clock news. It's a nice spot if you've never been here. There's a whole area over here that they're developing. I don't know how many of the regular people that used to live here are still here, but whatever.
Implementation of a ceasefire. This comes after hours of negotiations in Washington and after President Trump expressed his frustration directly to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over their ongoing conflict with the Iran-backed Hezbollah. ABC's Tom Sophie Borage is in Jerusalem.
President Trump effectively confirmed that he did shout and use expletives with Prime Minister Netanyahu on the phone. There are clear disagreements between the Israeli and the US position on some level right now, particularly over Lebanon, but clearly when it comes to getting rid of Iran's nuclear program, the two sides agree.
The House, for the first time, passing an Iran war powers resolution.
On this vote, the yeas are 215 and the nays are 208. The concurrent resolution is adopted.
4 Republicans siding with Democrats in support of the resolution that calls on President Trump to terminate the use of U.S. armed forces in hostilities against Iran unless there's a declaration of war or an authorization of force. Next up, the Senate.
See you fellas later.
Considered largely symbolic in nature. No additional insight from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as to why the Trump administration stopped pursuing the nearly $2 billion anti-weaponization fund, telling the Senate Finance Committee.
Even with the acting Attorney General Blanche's statements yesterday, this matter is still subject to ongoing litigation, so I'm unable to comment further on it.
The fund would have offered compensation to those who claim that they were wronged by the Biden Justice Department. They're still counting the votes in the Los Angeles mayor's race. Steve Hilton, Javier Becerra, and Tom Steyer are leading in the race.
President Trump, for his part, he's already taking to social media to congratulate the person he backed in the California gubernatorial race, Steve Hilton.
ABC's Selena Wang. ADP National Employment Report counting a record 122,000 new jobs created in May. You're listening to ABC News.
Development. See that there?
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan.
You guys ever been there? This is West. This is Chicago Avenue, man. Look how close you are to downtown Chicago. It's all new buildings around here.
And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy.
You guys never been there? You should come on and check it out. I discovered this place. I used to off-road in there. That's all cut off now. Let me show you. This you could ride. I got a video about 5 years ago of me riding through there. I'll show you something. Right there, I've been on that hill. This is all city line. I've been in there.
Services through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at Trajan Wealth.
There's street lights in there.
News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
The time now is 7:03 on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Good evening, I'm Glenn Marshall, and it's about 78 degrees here in Chicago under partly sunny skies. Tonight, though, we'll get partly cloudy with a low of 63 degrees. It's going to be 50s in the mini suburbs. Tomorrow, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies.
Look at where the downtown is. Downtown's directly west of here. East of here.
Thunderstorms expected late north
That's
and
east.
west
That's
of
the
Chicago
lake.
tomorrow night, and we'll see a low of 69 degrees. Of course, we're going to look at that AccuWeather 5-day forecast at 7:15. Right now, our top local story starts right now.
We own all this land.
Hearing earlier today, a group of community leaders and advocates rallied outside City Hall to push the city to find a replacement. The story from WBBM's Carolina Garibay.
Bring back ShotSpotter. Bring back ShotSpotter.
It's been 2 years since the city's contract with gun detection system ShotSpotter expired after Mayor Brandon Johnson decided not to renew it. St. Sabina's father Michael Flager says since then, advocates and survivors have been waiting for the city to find a replacement.
2 years ago, we were told by the city when they were removing ShotSpotter that they were going to find a better system to put in place. 2 years later, nothing has happened and nothing is on the horizon.
Pam Bosley is the co-founder and executive director of support and advocacy group Purpose Over Pain. Her 18-year-old son, Terrell, was shot and killed in April of 2006. Bosley says his case remains unsolved.
We're asking for solutions. We're asking for accountability. We're asking for these cases to be solved. We're asking to prevent gun violence. We're asking for you to respond to our gun violence and to help solve our murder cases.
At a separate event, Mayor Johnson told reporters that ShotSpotter was, quote, junk technology and that the city has been actively working to find a replacement. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The field of candidates in next year's race for mayor of Chicago just got bigger.
I'm I'm Susana Mendoza, and I'm running for mayor of Chicago.
State Comptroller Susana Mendoza is 54 years old. She's been essentially the state's accountant since 2016, and before that was the first woman to serve as Chicago City Clerk. The longtime Democrat is the sister of a Chicago police officer, and she's been critical of aspects of the state's bail reform law, known as the Safety Act.
Communities don't feel safe. Small businesses are fighting to survive.
Mendoza ran for mayor in 2019, but did not advance to the runoff. She's the best known of the candidates who have formally entered the race. More are expected, including Congressman Mike Quigley, Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas, and possibly Secretary of State Alexi Janulius. Mayor Brandon Johnson has repeatedly declined to say whether he intends to run again or when he'll make that announcement. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson confirms that he has had no contact with executives from the Chicago Bears since April, which is at least a month before state lawmakers tried and failed to approve incentives to encourage the team to build a stadium in Arlington Heights. Now, the mayor told Rahimi and Harris on our sister station 104.3 The Score that his administration and the team were working on details, among other things, the team's share of revenue from publicly owned Lakefront Stadium.
Up until April, we were working out a term sheet because that's what you do in negotiations, because it's about the revenue shares. And let's just be honest, look at the NFL stadiums across the league. Publicly owned is the preference.
The Bears have repeatedly said their preference would be to build a new stadium in Arlington Heights or in Hammond. The team says it'll announce a decision before the end of the summer. And staffers at Humboldt Park High School say they're prepared to strike in response to a series of controversial cuts.
Educators at the Chicago High School for the Arts, or Chi Arts, have voted to authorize a strike in what the Chicago Teachers Union describes as a nearly unanimous vote. It comes after students staged a walkout to voice their frustrations with plans to cut staff, arts programming, and several electives this fall. In a letter to the city's Board of Education, Chi Arts teachers write that they, quote, want to partner in the decision-making for our school. They're asking for CPS decision-makers to hear and recognize our seat at the table. The letter adds, please do not allow your CPS staff to throw away this world-class arts high school that is loved by so many CPS students, families, teachers, artists, and the community. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And the time now is 7:08. That means traffic and weather together on the 8th. We got a crash on the Kennedy. Here to explain is Abby Ryan.
Well, right now, if you're on that Kennedy Expressway, Glen, outbound heavy from the James to Armitage, crash blocks the lane. Then it's tight from the junction to Harlem, 20 to Montrose, 36 to the airport, inbound 45, O'Hare to downtown, heavy Harlem to Ohio, so passing the Wintrust Mural at North Avenue, tight. 25 coming in from the Edens Junction, the inbound side of the Edens, heavy past 2 to the Kennedy Junction at 25. The Eisenhower outbound, heavy Independence to before First, 24 to Manheim, 42 to I-90. If you're on the inbound side, it is heavy St. Charles to Des Plaines, earlier crash cleared, then tight from Cicero to Sacramento, 55. I-90 in, 35 coming in from Manheim, again 42 out to I-90. Stevenson outbound, heavy from Damon to Cicero, 25-minute ride to 294, 34 to 355, inbound 30. Ryan outbound 18, inbound 15, I-57, 17 minutes outbound. It is tight off the Ryan past Holstead, the Bishop Ford outbound heavy 115 to Bobby and Woods, 23 to 80, 94. DuSable Lakeshore Drive northbound, stop and go Oak Street curve to Belmont with Cubs traffic. Southbound heavy Oak Street curve to Chicago Avenue, Tri-State 294 southbound, heavy from I-290 or Eisenhower down to Ogden, I-80 past Holstead.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. It's 7:09 p.m. It is June 3rd, 2026. We're going to figure out what we're going to do. We'll see what we're going to do. We'll see where we go and see what's going to happen. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate everybody watching. Be safe. Be careful. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good night. SubX.News on the spot reporting. Signing off. 7:10 p.m. June 3rd, 2026.